Welcome everyone to Legion Gaming. I'm your host Donnie, and as always, I'm joined by co-host Deuce.
Hey, after that intro, don't you feel like we should be wearing tuxes?
Man alive, I think you're right. Actually, we should do like a Siskel and Ebert thing, like the if we pick the winners as they called it back in the day.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And today we have a special guest who is, I guess, our second annual guest on this. It's Vito, the 8-Bit Barrister.
Yeah, good to be here. I can't believe this is the second year I've done this. That's crazy.
It really does not feel like we did this a year ago, but Man Alive, episode 75, 2025 Game of the Year.
Oh, we timed that out again, because episode 50 was our Game of the Year last year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, so I guess it did work out. 25 episodes. Well, makes sense. 25 episodes over 2 weeks each. That makes sense. We're on track.
One bonus episode.
One bonus episode.
It's been another long year.
Yeah.
That went by really quick.
It's gone by very fast. It's been another great year for games. There's always, we talked about 2023 and 2024 where I was saying like, wow, there's a lot of great games out. And then 2025, there was like, wow, even more great games came out.
I feel like there was kind of a lull in 2024 compared to 23 and this year.
It was quieter. I definitely think it was quieter because I don't remember what my Game of the Year was last year. I don't remember. I have to look back.
Yeah.
But it did feel like after 23 was a really big high.
Astrobot. We both.
That's Astrobot.
We both did that one.
There you go. See? So yeah, Astrobot was definitely the peak of the year. But 2025 has just been like one big release after another, and then as of this recording, one release I've been looking forward to is Metro Prime 4. That's finally coming out, so that won't be on this list.
Oh yeah, what's that in a week?
It is
a week or
this
two.
Thursday.
It comes out Thursday.
Yeah,
Damn.
the 4th. So I'm going to be picking that up for sure because it's been 8 years since they announced that. 7 or 8 years.
So that's the caveat, though, is that that could end up on this list. So something may be dropped.
I guess by the time we record next episode, it would be like, well, I could have put that on my list, but it depends. Who knows? We
Could go on next year.
I was going to say, just wait till next year, like some of mine this year.
So nonetheless, we have a very fun list today because we're going to be talking about our disappointments of the year. We have some honorable mentions we have to talk about and kind of breeze through. And then, of course, we have our top 10 games of the year for the year of 2025. But before we get to all that good stuff, what have you guys been playing?
These?
Which I think you said last year.
Actually, what I've been playing most recently that isn't on here is Luigi's Mansion. That released onto the GameCube Switch online app. And I was talking about maybe getting back into Luigi's Mansion 3 because I haven't finished that one yet. But I figured, why not go back to where it all started and then also pick up Luigi's Mansion 2 at some point? Because I did play that on the original 3DS, I think
it was
came out.
3DS.
Yeah. Didn't beat that then. But yeah, I haven't played Luigi's Mansion probably since I got it on GameCube like 20-some years ago. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm breezing right through it. I forgot that it was sort of kind of like a basic Metroidvania because it's pretty linear. Once you go into a room, the ghost will give you a key to like another room, and you think you have to explore, but you don't. It shows up on the map. This is the door that this key goes to. But yeah, I'm really enjoying just having something on in the background and then breezing right through this one.
Mm-hmm. That's what you've been playing, Deucey? Just some Luigi's Mansion?
Oh, I also got back into F1 recently.
You've been chipping away at that.
Yeah, but
you're F1 in NASCAR.
Yeah, but I will be talking about that shortly. So
that makes sense. Yeah, we always there's a lot on our list, so there's some things that we're still playing from the year.
Yep.
Yeah. Vito, what have you been diving into?
Like Deucey, I've been playing a lot of the games that are on this list, so I'll kind of hold that part of the discussion to when we talk about them. But since I've been traveling down here to the peninsula for Thanksgiving, I played a little bit of Outlaws Remastered, the Night Dive remaster of the 97 LucasArts.
Yeah, it's a LucasArts Doom-style kind of shooter, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
because it is inspired. They used to call them corridor shooters, I guess you could say.
Oh, yeah. Now they're boomer shooters.
I guess it was just using the Dark Forces engine.
That makes sense.
Tweaked it and made it a Western, and it's good, but like I was telling you guys when we walked in, it's the enemy reaction time is like less than a half a second. Like you have to be very quick or else they're just going to kill you. And you'll have no time to react. You have to start the whole level over. So I end up save scumming a lot just to try to make progress. But it's fine. I mean, it's not the best. I think the core game just itself isn't the best game, but Night Dive, of course, did a great job on the remaster. And then other than that, I mean, we all got analog 3Ds, so I've been kind of diving back into the N64 library, playing Castlevania and a little bit of GoldenEye and a couple of games I picked up in Japan, like Bangai-O and Sin and Punishment. Been playing those on there, and everything runs great. Been enjoying that, and yeah, it's pretty much what I've been playing.
Yeah, I've been playing the analog quite a bit as well because we pre-ordered this clearly a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
last October, and then after delay after delay after delay, like, is it coming this year? And they actually slipped it in towards the end of November. And I've been really enjoying I've been playing a lot of Hybrid Heaven, which I posted about. It's a pretty unique sci-fi RPG by Konami, and it's a weird sort of real-time action brawler hybrid game where your movement is in real time, like it's almost like a virtual fighter game, and then you have your commands once you get in like an active time bar, like Final Fantasy VII, and when that bar fills up, then you could like chain your different combos, like you can say like left hook, right hook, or use your left leg and right punch to do combos.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty interesting. There's a whole sort of a contextual move set where once you knock an enemy down, you can actually do more like wrestling moves on them and
Stomp.
everything. Yeah, it's really cool. It's actually pretty difficult because each enemy is sort of like a different fighter type in a way. So you have to like learn what they're doing, and you have the ability to dodge and counter them. It's just really hard to do from what I can tell. And it does have some of the tropes of the time, like a lot of repetitive corridors, a lot of empty areas. But I also understand like it's an N64 game, so it's super limited. But the story is really, really interesting so far. It kind of is like a conspiratorial X-Files twist where you play as even the person you're playing as is what they call a hybrid, which is like these aliens have invaded Earth and they sort of replicated humans, and their plan is to replicate government officials so they could take over the world. Which was that like in Mars Attacks or something? That feels like it was something I'd seen before.
It's in a lot of ones. So I mean, even Perfect Dark had the let's clone the president and swap him out.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been really interesting because it's I'd say one of the weirder, darker stories on the N64. And this game to me is kind of like an underrated gem because I remember when it came out, like it had a little bit of hype behind it, and I just remember being kind of, actually had some pretty solid reviews, but it just seemed like a lot of people kind of dismissed it for its kind of clunky turn-based combat, which I can understand.
What year was it?
99, so
Okay.
it's post Metal Gear. And
Yeah.
I remember that being the joke is like, this sort of looks like Metal Gear if it was on the N64,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely not what you'd expect. So maybe that was part of why people didn't really like it so much, as they expected something different.
Yeah, I saw it recently on a YouTube retrospective. It was like, I don't even know who did it, but it was the RPGs of N64, which is kind of a short video.
Yeah.
But they were kind of ranking them, and of course Paper Mario got the top, and because that's so good, I don't even remember that it's an RPG on an N64. But Hybrid Heaven was up there at like second or third, and when I
They
saw
put that up there high.
when I saw the gameplay of it, I was like, "Whoa! How did I miss this? I really got to go looking for it."
Yeah, I remember renting it back then, but it just felt like no one talked about the game much.
Yeah.
Like I'd seen it in reviews and magazines, like even Nintendo Power and this and that and everything, but it just no one I knew talked about it. It was just it existed and no one talked about it. So I'd gotten a copy a while back and I played it, and I also played a little bit on Switch Online. But the enhancements of the analog do make it a little bit easier to sort of digest, like the overclock mode that. It doesn't make this frame rate ultra smooth, but it smooths it out better than what it was.
Slideshow.
Yeah, than the slideshow on a regular N64. So it's like those little small enhancements make it a little bit easier to get it into. It's still a 26-year-old game that's just super clunky, but it's really been fantastic so far.
It totally passed me by. I didn't know about Hybrid Heaven until recently. In the last 5 years, I did not hear about it as a kid. So
I think back then I didn't know it was an RPG or had RPG elements. I figured it was more like Metal Gear, where it was very action oriented.
It really looked like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't know unless you had to look a little bit deeper into it, or read a review or preview or something that talked about it, because even the commercials I vaguely recall showed like the combat, but it was so like, how they do the quick cuts where you can't really tell what it actually is.
Yeah, that was very 90s back then.
Exactly, right? So it wasn't totally representative of what you're actually getting either. So there's that. Yeah. The other game I'm playing is Neon Inferno that came out last week or the last
that's
couple
right.
weeks.
I started that.
Yeah, it's a really cool game. He plays like this mafioso hitman, basically just taking down sort of this larger government that's overrun the city or the police force. And that's really the story. It's just filler. Really, there's really nothing exciting there. This game is actually it's heavily inspired by Wild Guns and Metal Slug, right down to the difficulty. I beat it on medium, but I was like, wow, those last two levels were pretty hard.
It's a little more bullet hellish than from what I remember from Metal Slug, but
Metal Slug I would say it's damn near bullet hellish.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just remember getting through those easier. I think because there's only like 2 buttons in a Metal Slug,
Yeah.
whereas this one has a lot of cool moves where you can shoot into the background, you can dodge, or you can just reflect things back at the enemies. So it's a little more like of a modern bullet hell
It's
shooter.
like and there's elements of Contra in there too. I really like it because it does combine all of those different sort of scenarios where it's like you could deflect green bullets and you can also deflect them in the background because you're getting shot from the background. There's times where you're going in the background shooting into the foreground. So there's a lot of this game is like super fast paced on top of all that. And for me, it's really it just comes down to just memorization more than anything. Like, where enemies are kind of flying in from.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just once you get used to that, it's not so bad. And like the bosses only have a few attacks. They all have like 2 or 3 phases, which is also surprised when you get through them. I was like, oh, damn, that was really hard. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like the health bar just refills, right? I did try it on hard and I got through the first level and it's definitely harder because they have different placements than what I was used to playing on normal. And there's more enemies on top of all that. So it's been a really fun sort of arcade shooter, I guess you could say. And it's also, I think it was like, it was like $15? 18?
14?
Yeah.
It was on sale right when it came out.
Yeah, it had like a special early discount, which may or may not still be valid, but even at full price it was like 15 or $20. And it, it's short and does have some extras. Like there's an arcade mode where you get through on 1 credit. Don't know if I'll ever get through that. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else they might have coming for it, but it's a really solid, fun time. It's just pure arcade bullet hell, Metal Slug, Wild Guns.
I will say I enjoy that you get a life bar in this one compared to like Contra
That's
and,
true.
and games of the old.
It is helpful. The downside is like you have no way to refill that health bar either.
Yeah.
I will say one thing I didn't like was how you switched to your secondary weapons. It's really something stupid. Like you have to crouch and click the right stick.
Oh, yeah.
And like, it has a little on-screen prompt. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? Like I thought I was hold crouch and hit down on the right stick.
Yeah.
And it's
No, you
click
push
the right stick.
you push in the right stick.
Yeah,
that took me a little while to figure out.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Like you can't switch back either. So you're sort of like you use your sub weapon and you're stuck to it, which you don't want to have sometimes.
Yeah.
And also it's kind of goofy that the right click when you click the right stick again, it's also toggles your crosshair speed. So if you're not crouching, you might accidentally.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it's a small issue. Like they could patch that out or something. But overall, I did enjoy my time with it because I finished it. I still loved it.
Yeah, there's 8 other face buttons. They could have done something.
I know. There really are. There's a dodge. Yeah, I guess there's at least 3 more buttons they could have used.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, let's talk about the greatest games we played in all of 2025. Guys, we are here another year, another episode. We're talking about Game of the Year. Do you see this is our 3rd Game of the Year episode, and this is our 2nd with Vito, which is pretty cool. Like I think we recorded this about the same time last year, if I recall. And we're here a whole year later, believe it or not, to talk about the games we were disappointed by, some of the games that almost made our list, and of course the top 10. So I guess we should start with our disappointments because those are a bit easier to kind of chip through.
It's a smaller list.
It's
out
a smaller
of
list, and really there's not a whole lot to say. It's really these games are like. They're kind of things where they're not terrible games. It's just maybe we set our expectations too high, or once we played them, it's just like it just didn't meet the mark of what we thought. They're not bad games. It's just stuff that we wish we would have liked more. So this is a different kind of list, more or less here. Ducey, would you like to start with your disappointments for the year?
Okay. Well, the first one I put on my list like right away was Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I have not played this at all, but I am disappointed because from what I've heard, I don't want to play this at all. Black Ops 6, I believe the campaign was on my Game of the Year last year, like on the top 10 list, because that was so interesting. And for a Call of Duty campaign, it was like kind of back to the campaigns of old.
And it was a lot more fresh.
Yeah.
Because they had that cool little leveling up system where you level up your home base, like it gives you more ammo or some or quicker reload speed. Like it wasn't anything significant or major, but it was a little bit something different that Call of Duty hadn't done before.
And every stage was some sort of like homage to other spy games you might have played, and it was not repetitive at all. And then this one comes out and everybody's talking about how it's all like multiplayer and it's basically like Warzone but a campaign, which is kind of how they shot themselves in the foot with Modern Warfare 3. And I'm just like, this is why we don't do back-to-back versions of the same game. Like they should have gone with another Modern Warfare or another World War II version or something before they get back to Black Ops. Yeah,
I read the campaign here is really terrible, which I don't want to say I I expected it, because I kind of did in a way where once they said it was like co-op focus, I was like, okay, well, I know they're going to balance it for single player. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a 4-player co-op game. And I've heard it's just really bad. I've seen videos saying like there's areas where you could just crawl, like you're swimming through the ocean or through some water, just to avoid all the conflict. You just bypass all that, right?
Nice.
So it sucks, because we do play the Call of Duty multiplayer quite a bit when they're out, and this one we don't care.
At one point, like, you know, in the previous game, there was a lot of head trippy stuff because it's talking about being reprogrammed during the Cold War and everything. They kind of leaned too heavily on that in this one. At one point, Michael Rooker is ginormous. It kind of looks like Scarecrow in the Arkham series.
Yeah.
And you have to fight that. And I was like, why? What is going on with my Black Ops?
Yeah.
I'm not a Call of Duty person like at all. The last one I played kind of religiously was World at War. So we're talking like 2008, maybe 7, somewhere around there. But to me, that franchise was always about like, and this might sound stupid, but like horrors of war, like the realistic aspect of like World War II.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely what it used to be.
Yeah, and now it's like turning into this like psychedelic, weird kind of like sci-fi thing, and I'm like, why don't you just make a different franchise? Like make something else that kind of leans into that.
I mean, the very first Black Ops was kind of leaning into that because it was during right after Vietnam, and that guy was reprogrammed. What are the numbers? That sort of thing. So Black Ops has always been sort of about that, the weird psychedelic stuff, but this is also kind of bleeding into the future, which I don't always want. Like, there was the one where they were in space. What the heck was that? Infinite Warfare?
Yeah, I think it was Infinite Warfare.
And that one is like, okay, fine. If you're going to do that, like you said, split it off into its own thing. And, and now we have space Call of Duty. But just like for Black Ops, keep it boots on the ground or something.
Yeah. You want to go through the rest of your disappointments, Lucy? We'll just probably quick fire all these two. Like, we don't want to rotate them all.
I was also disappointed with the Rogue Prince of Persia because it had some really great gameplay, but it's a roguelike. And I was getting tired of doing the same level over and over again in the beginning.
I agree with you there, because that one was I was kind of high on that one for a little bit, and then once I had to play through the first boss 3 times, I was like, all right, I'm kind of over this now.
Another one I put on here, Super Mega Baseball 4, but not for the game itself, because I really enjoy that series. It's a really good arcadey baseball game with some in-depth franchise mode. But the Switch 2 has issues because not everything has been able to come forward from the Switch. So Mega Baseball 4 and the Jurassic Park collection will just boot you out all of a sudden and freeze up and just kick you back to the home screen. And I'm just like,
Yeah, there's, I think, like 100-something games total that aren't compatible with Switch, and you have 2 of them.
Yeah. And I really want to play them.
Yeah, that's what sucks. Like, it's a super small list relative to the library size, but then it's like, it sucks when those are, there's 2 games you want to play on there.
Did you say Jurassic Park is one that has problems?
Yeah, the collection.
Yeah, see, I have that physically, but I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, it's not going to work so well.
If they patch it, I guess.
Yeah. And my last 2 kind of go hand in hand, and you guys aren't going to like one of these.
Yeah.
But I had to put Sonic Racing Crossworlds on here because I was really hyped for it, and I thought it was a really good competitor to Mario Kart. And then it just sort of fell off, and I haven't played it since we initially played it all together. Yeah. I just thought it was not quite what I was expecting. Like, it had a lot of kart customization, but it didn't really matter. And then the single player wasn't hooking me. A lot of times I was going through it and I was just getting rammed everywhere and sliding up against the walls. And I'm like, I don't feel like I have full control of this racing game. And so, yeah, like I said, I haven't really played it much since we initially played it. But hopefully when the Mega Man pack comes out, I'll get back into it because that looks fun as hell.
Can't wait for that.
And then my last one is on all of our disappointment lists.
This one we could talk through a little bit.
Yeah.
This one, it stings. This one stings more than the others.
It's Mario Kart World, and I can't believe I'm putting this on here.
I was shocked you even conceded to it, too. I was like, all right, Deucey.
Yeah.
Right, you've come to fights.
But I will say I'm more willing to go back and play this more than Sonic Racing or anything right now. Like, it's still Mario Kart to me, and it's still fun if you just sort of accept that you're going to get screwed over at the end of every race. But it's on my disappointment list because it just doesn't quite match Mario Kart 8 or some of the other Mario Karts. I will say I like it a lot better than Double Dash. It's not going to go at the bottom of any list or anything. Yeah. But yeah, for all the hype and everything, and after what they did with Mario Kart 8, you were like, what are they going to do next? And they didn't quite get there for the next generation of system.
Yeah, that's a lot of why I didn't like Mario. I don't want to say didn't like Mario Kart World, but why that fell off for me is because, like there's a lot of discussion about what they call them, the intermission tracks.
Yeah.
And there's the internet's going to be sort of hyperbolic in the description of them, but I agree that they're not fun. Like when I feel like I'm on a straightaway the whole time and I have no way to catch up or anything, I'm like, this is just boring. Like, this is not Mario Kart to me. So that's just like a small nitpick, right? Because it doesn't ruin the game or anything. It's just something that, to me, stops the pace of the game. And then also you're getting screwed. The offensive items are garbage in this game.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of useless. The AI is absolutely atrocious in my eyes. Like you said, when you're getting clipped from first to like eighth, at literally the last turn of the whole race, and you have no real way to restart GP, it's like, all right, well that sucks. So it just sucks because I had really high hopes for this game, and we played this quite a bit, and we haven't played in like almost 5 months now. I think it is, since before Donkey Kong Bonanza came out. That was July.
Yeah.
So it's like this game will get better, but I still feel like Mario Kart 8's the peak. This is still a fantastic Mario Kart game. I'm just kind of like bored by it. Like it's just not a bad game. It's just I'll only play multiplayer. Like if you guys say, hey, you want to play multiplayer, like I'll play multiplayer for sure. But I haven't picked this up single player in 4 months. Like the online's boring by myself. Because it's pure chaos.
Yeah.
The GP is, I've done all the golds I want to, but the fact that I could get screwed at the end doesn't make me want to play it. And also the open world is just kind of a barren wasteland to me. Like you unlock these stickers that don't do anything. You have 1,000 of them, and you can only apply one to your car.
That's such a sin to me. Is you get all these stickers, and you can only apply one on one little part of your car
that you never see,
and you can't see it.
Yeah. So it's like I just wish there was more to it. Like I think the open world could have been so much more exciting. There could have been a ton of things you could have added to add some more variety. But the challenges are fun, but they don't do it for me. Is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I think the thing that kind of saves it a little bit for me is I know it has potential to be like better, and I know they're going to add some DLC at some point. And you got to remember, Mario Kart 8 when it came out originally on Wii, a lot of people had problems with that. I mean,
it launched a lot of problems.
Yeah,
like Juicy told me about the whole multiplayer fiasco.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful that that they'll maybe add a bunch of content, fix the AI. Maybe add missions or something to the overworld.
I think they keep tweaking it here and there, but it's like not a lot of stuff that people are asking for.
Yeah. So that's what sucks is this game. What disappoints me about having to put this on the list is because I enjoy the game. It just fell off. That's all it is. Like it's not a bad game. It's just sort of a disappointment that it didn't meet what I expected for it.
Yeah.
Especially after we had just gotten off of Mario Kart 8 and all the hype and the 48 new tracks I added there and everything. This was a fantastic Mario Kart game. It's just reel us back in.
Yeah. Just adjust some things. Give us some DLC.
I think it's coming. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
But like I said, just the other night I was having kind of a rough night, and I thought, man, it'd be fun if I just roped everybody together and we got onto Mario Kart again.
Play it.
I would too. You guys let me know. I'll jump in.
Yeah.
This won't be my first choice, but it won't be a choice I would say no to.
Yeah.
All right, Vito, you want to chip through your disappointments of the year?
Sure. So the first one I have is Assassin's Creed Shadows. The game is gorgeous. The story's okay. The characters are okay. The thing that kind of kills me with it is, to me, it's an Ubisoft thing where they just make these giant open worlds with tons of stuff to do, but none of it's really interesting, and it's really repetitive. It's a lot of the same activities over and over and over and over. And so I got bored with it really quick to the point where I just sold the game because I was just like, I don't care anymore, and I had no interest in the Claws of Iwagi. And then I heard recently they did a crossover with Attack on Titan or something?
I read a headline about that.
And that's getting ripped. And they just Ubisoft just tries to monetize the crap out of everything, and it's almost like they're trying to make a single player, just offline kind of MMO type thing. And I think I'm done with Assassin's Creed, which kind of kills me because I love the Ezio trilogy, and I liked the was it Origins? I like that one.
Black Flag. If you never played
Black
that
Flag.
one,
No, Black Flag is good.
One.
Yes, no, I like that one. They are supposedly doing a remake of that, so maybe I'll play that.
That'll be cool.
But yeah, it's Assassin's Creed Shadow, especially in comparison to something like Ghost of Yotei, which I think is excellent.
Oh yeah.
It's just really disappointing. Mario Kart World. We all talked about that. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. The game is, I like Fallout 4. They charge like what, $70, and basically you're not getting anything new except basically a bunch of cosmetic
and community creations.
Community
creation stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just there's not a whole lot of value there.
All that should be like max $30.
That was already kind of available.
Right.
Well, they had like the free community creation club mods and whatnot, and then I guess these are, I don't know how they chose them. I don't even know what
they're
really
random.
is.
Like I bought it because I really liked it, and I was like, oh, I want to play Fallout 4, and then I played it for like an hour, and I just, there's a bunch of bugs like usual, and then I heard that people that had mods installed, if they bought the creations, it like broke it, and so I'm just like, come on, Bethesda, you got to do better, with this. So that's on there. My next one, and actually I like the game. It's just one aspect of the game that I'm putting on here. So Silent Hill F. I like the story, I like the characters, I like the world, everything's great, but the combat just killed me. I remember playing on hard because I wanted to be cool or whatever. Like, I'll play it on hard, and I got to the first boss. It was one of her friends as some kind of monster. I don't remember what the name of the friend was, and it was like playing a Dark Souls game. Like I could not beat it, and finally after like 20 attempts I got through it. And I texted Don, I'm like, what the hell is with this? And he's like, I put it on story for the combat.
Oh, yeah.
So I just did that, and then I got through the game, and I really enjoyed it at that point. But the combat, and the combat makes sense for the time where it is, like Japan. They're not going to have access to gun. It's the 60s. She's a high school kid. She's not going to be walking around with a Glock. So it makes sense story-wise. It just doesn't really work for me on anything above story. So that's why.
And a lot of that, and I didn't put that on my disappointments, but what works, what doesn't work about the combat is that they have this stupid stamina system that is unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's just there to add difficulty. And you have a combat system that's kind of slow and clunky, or sluggish, I should say, not even clunky, that really doesn't support stamina management anyway. So I just put it on story because it's like, I just want to get through the game on the story because I really enjoy it. But the combat is just kind of a sore thumb. It's there. It's like, if it was just sort of a melee thing like Silent Hill 2 was, it would have been fine.
Yeah, and so let me just reiterate, like, I like the game. It's just the combat aspect that I'm putting in the disappointments. So
asterisk. We'll say,
asterisk. And then my last one is, and I know I think Donnie has this on here, but Microsoft, but specifically canceling Perfect Dark, because that hurts my heart, because now I'm pretty certain that franchise is dead. Like, it's not ever coming back unless someone like Nintendo could, pull it away from Microsoft and take it over. To cancel that game based on what we saw, and that footage could be mainly BS, like just, whatever, but it looked cool. I was really looking forward to it.
It was more than we had seen in the past few years.
And there was a developer who said, no, there was actually a lot of that was just gameplay.
Right.
Yeah. He came out and said, like, just to sort of discredit the rumors and whatnot.
Right. But to have something that you show, like, to, fans of the franchise that have been around like us since the N64 days, and we're like, oh, new Perfect Dark, and then they're like, no, psych, we're not going to make it anymore. Like, Microsoft is literally killing me right now.
Yeah, I put them on my list for the second time. I don't know if I did it for the first list. Did we do the first one?
With all the firings and everything? Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So, they've continued to fire people this year. Thousands more. They've, again, shut down companies, including the Initiative, which was developer of Perfect Dark. They've also raised the price of Game Pass. I don't know if it's once or twice, but at least twice within the last year.
Yeah.
It's now $30 a month if you want Ultimate, because, a $70 billion acquisition is going to pay itself. On top of that, the hardware has gotten 2 increases, and there's rumors of a 3rd increase coming because of RAM shortages, thanks to people and AI. It's really just, it's just kind of like the crypto shortage, or excuse me, the GPU shortage when people are on the crypto. Now there's sort of a RAM shortage for AI. So they now have a $650 Series X. I think it's a 2 terabyte. I think that was $500 5 years ago, and now they're firing people left and right. All the big wigs are still making $30 million a year, whatever it is. Like, this is probably the last Xbox I'm gonna buy, because they're starting to make it to where it's like I have no reason to have it. Like, I don't care about the agnostic ecosystem. I think that's great for people who benefit it. For me, it's just the more they're doing, the less I care.
Especially with the Steam machine coming out, it's like, why do I even need an Xbox anymore?
Oh, yeah, Steam Cube.
But real quick, you know what else really bothers me about Microsoft, and it seems to be, I know every company kind of does it, but Microsoft does it a lot, is when they release quote-unquote physical games and there's only megabytes on the disc and they make you download. Like, I really wanted to get Oblivion Remastered physical, but every version, PlayStation, Xbox, is megabytes on the disc. And it's like, what's the point of doing that?
Yeah, that's just modern gaming now.
Yeah.
But it's like you're killing them. You're killing the environment basically by printing this coaster essentially for us to use. It just really bugs me. So yeah, Microsoft. We could go on and on about them.
They're on my wall of shame because it's just I think about like how Xbox 360 was so good and Xbox One was good, but it wasn't like. I feel like they're just making like these weird decisions that no one knows what they're doing. I don't know if they know what they're doing.
They don't.
They have that ROG Xbox Ally, that portable device.
Oh yeah.
They call it an Xbox. It doesn't play Xbox games.
Oh okay.
I think it plays some Game Pass games, but it's just, again, like there's value there. It's just the more they do these things, the more I'm like, I'm not going to support you. Like, I just don't, like, you guys are laying people off. You're making all these acquisitions. Susan is shut down. They won't sell the Perfect Dark IP to anybody because I think it was Take-Two or 2K, I forgot who, offered to say like, hey, we'll take over and we'll buy it. And Microsoft's like, no. So it's like, what are you doing with these IPs if you're not going to make games for them?
Why are you just going to sit on it? Like, and not, if somebody wants to buy it from you, make the game, let them do it.
Yeah, they couldn't come to terms to like the long term, I guess, rights to the IP or something like that. But like, you're not doing anything with them.
Yeah, they've totally destroyed so many companies that they bought, like Rare. Remember on our top N64 list, most of our list was Rare games.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, does Rare even still make anything?
Yeah, I see they have an update for Sea of Thieves or stuff like that.
Big whoop.
Yeah.
Xbox has become sort of just like the Call of Duty system because they bought up Activision and everything. And it's just like they're not paying attention to really anything else. They're giving away Halo now. That's going to be out on PlayStation.
Yeah, you're right too. That was announced this year. Yeah,
Forza and all that is just going away out into the universe on everything else. It's a weird like difference than Sega when the Dreamcast failed and they just shut down and they said, well, now we're going to make games for other things. And we saw Sonic on Nintendo. That was crazy. But Microsoft is like shutting down and then not having any other plans. There's no like Microsoft Studios games going to Nintendo or anything.
Yeah. Well, it was weird when I was playing Ninja Gaiden 4, and it did say like Xbox Game Studios, or even when I got like Horizon 5 on sale.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is weird. And you have to sign in with your Xbox or Microsoft login, and it shows like you with your Xbox Live name. It's like, oh, this is weird, but I'm on PS5.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
What's interesting too is, like you said, Sega had the Dreamcast that failed, and they said, you know what, we're not doing consoles anymore. We're just going to be a third party publisher. Microsoft's kind of doing that, but they're also saying, oh no, we're going to come out with the next Xbox system. It's going to be a premium system.
Yeah, they keep stringing people along.
Yeah, and so by premium, it's going to be over $1,000 probably. And who's going to buy that? Especially with Steam Machine, which would probably be
Did they even,
$500?
Did they even give a price for the Steam one?
No, so there's rumors. They're saying Valve is saying like it's not subsidized. So there's even rumors that it could be like $700 or $800, and it's like I would I think like for me, not that I don't know if I'm going to buy it or not, but I think a good price point would be $500 or $600 because that's pretty compelling to have sort of like a little PC in a box that you can just hook up to your TV, right?
I would get one.
Yeah, but I think $700, $800 is a little bit hard to justify, but it's still amazing for what it does. And then if there's an Xbox Premium system, it could be like $1,000, but I'll just invest that $1,000 into a PC.
Yeah,
right? Like at that point.
I mean, I'm guessing the next Xbox console will be over $1,000 because they're using the word premium, and I'm pretty sure they were using that about the ROG Ally X, or and that's over. That's like $1,000.
It is about $1,100.
Yeah, so it's going to be expensive. They're kind of alienating their clientele.
How much are Steam Decks these days?
You can get them as cheap on sale. Actually, I should say refurbished. They're like $250 on the low end. Yeah,
nice.
And then the OLED ones are it's like $500. But granted, like the Steam Deck hardware, it's already showing its age a little bit. Like it's not a bad thing. It's just PC games have to be verified and they have to kind of be backwards compatible. But it's still a great value for what it is, right? Like I don't know, some people might go for ROG Ally because it's a powerhouse, but it's double the cost of a Steam Deck, right?
Yeah,
that's the hard part. So I had a few. So one was Axiom Verge 2. This is a sequel to Axiom Verge, which was heavily inspired by Metroidvania. It had this really cool sort of, I guess to call it like this sort of a digital sci-fi look. Like everything just looks like you're sort of like in computer code or something. And it was really fun. It was really combat centric. I enjoyed that a lot and finished it. I was really excited for Axiom Verge 2 because this is like a single developer. And after many delays, it came out, and I finally got a chance to play it this year. And I was just not having a good time with it because
Oh.
this is more exploration focused.
Oh, weird.
There's a lot more variety in the worlds, which I think is kind of a good thing. But in this sense, they're just not very fun to explore. And then the worst thing about that, I kind of had a hard time that I was really struggling with was you have these sections where your character has like this little drone, and like you go into sort of like these mini drone like puzzle Metroidvanias, like they're sort of miniaturized, and those are just not fun to play with because the combat's not fun. So I think I put like, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours into this. And I was like, I'm just not enjoying this as much as I hoped. So maybe I'll go back to it with a fresh set of eyes, but I was just really not into it at this point. And, you know, the first game hooked me immediately because it was very much just a Metroid ripoff. And I mean that in like a good way.
Yeah.
But this was just sort of the opposite of what I wanted. The other one is Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. You play as 2 sort of ghost-busting ghost hunters in like, I think it's like 1900s Louisiana, early 1900s. I can't recall when. Really interesting story because one of the characters dies and now she's sort of a spirit, and you make a promise at the beginning because there are a lot of these sort of pathways in the story that you could take that alter the ending. And one is that you have to sort of promise her whether you'll help her sort of ascend, which means like she'll kind of go in the afterlife, or if you'll use your ghost hunting powers to basically revive her and go after this demon called the Nightmare. Really great story, really great atmosphere, but the combat just bored me. It's really mashy, and like you just have to mash square, and then you can alternate with her ghost form, and that adds a little bit of combat depth. But it just like it almost sounds like Rocky punching a slab of meat, and it's just some enemies are damage sponges, some of the bosses are that way, and I was like, this is just really killing my vibe. I think it was like 12 or 13 hours in, I just couldn't get into it anymore because even the overworld just has these combat challenges that just aren't fun. That's almost like the worst part of the game. And they make you do them for like side content. So I wish I could have enjoyed this because the story's great, but the combat wasn't great. Last one, I expected to be disappointed by this, and I was. It's Double Dragon Revive, which it's I don't want to call it a remake because it's sort of like a sequel, but it's like I guess under the guise of sort of a remake. But it's by Arxis, who made like they made Hardcore Uprising, they made Guilty Gear, and a few other games. And this just kind of has an ugly art style that doesn't really say Double Dragon outside of like the character designs. It also takes some of the worst of the early series, like the really clunky and stiff combat.
What?
But then what it does is it adds more enemies on the screen at once. And there was a level I got to, I think it's level 7 of 8, where they throw 4 bosses at you at once. And you don't have really many defensive options. Again, you're super stiff, super slow. The animations are sluggish, and like it's not an awful game. It's just like a really mediocre beat 'em up. And you know, I expected that, but I was like, damn, well, it's a disappointment.
I mean, yeah, we've seen it before, but the people who handle Double Dragon just constantly fumble.
Yeah, well, you know what the last good one was I actually enjoyed was Double Dragon Gaiden. I don't know if you played that one. It was a 2D. That one was kind of like a roguelike where...
Oh, yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, like you go through each sort of arcade loop, and you get through each stage you go through makes the next level harder. So you can kind of pick and plot of like, you know, if you want to start on a harder level first, it's easier and kind of go in reverse order. And then you have like your upgrades, which are sort of continual, and there's like a lot of characters unlocked. That was really fun. This was kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Double Dragon Revive, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but it's developed, I believe, by Ukes, which is the company that did all those wrestling
It was.
games.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yes.
and I think, I mean, I haven't played probably a lot of those games, but I heard they were pretty good. So I thought maybe they would take a lot of that wrestling DNA and kind of like, you know, put it into this Double Dragon game, but they didn't.
Yeah, I think they tried to make it a little too retro, and it got some of the worst parts about it. It's just... you can't do stiff combat and you're just being bombarded by enemies and hazards and whatever else. Like when they can move faster than you and you're trying to get out of the way of hazards at the same time and your dodge like doesn't move out of the hazard, well, you're kind of screw at that point. Right? Yeah. All right, guys. So we got through disappointments. Let's go ahead and quick fire through our honorable mentions, the ones that didn't make our list. So, Deucey, you want to go through yours here?
Yeah,
I see you put one pretty recent too, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
This is, when you hear this list, everybody's going to be like, what is on his list if these aren't?
That's what makes it exciting. Yeah.
I'll start with Vampire Survivors. I am surprised that I didn't talk about this on last year's Game of the Year because this thing hooked me right away, and I just now really love games like this. Also, NASCAR 25 just barely missed my list, but I'm still having a great time with that. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker and Yoshi's Crafted World.
That's a great pair.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying all of the side character games from the Mario universe. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I really enjoy this. It is hard for me, you know, my stance on these games, but like I really do like it, and I like what they did with it right from the first level on. I'm actually not having too much difficulty with it. I just got to remember that I own it and then play it.
I'd say the difficulty is like reasonable.
Yeah.
It's just
I
you
don't
have to
think-
learn a lot of things in there.
I don't think I've died maybe like once or twice. That's about it.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's not like 20. No. Yeah.
I also put Donkey Kong Bonanza on my honorable mentions because the more I thought about it, I'm like, this is a great, gorgeous game. I love that it's like Mario Odyssey, but Donkey Kong. But then I realized I haven't played it since it came out. Like,
Yeah, I was actually surprised this was on your list, but I also know you haven't talked about it in a while, so I figured you kind of fell off of it.
yeah, it just sort of like got pushed to the side, and I know I can get back into it and probably just get lost in it. But I'm also afraid for myself because I find I just start digging through everything, and then my OCD takes over, and I want to clean the level of anything that you can break, and I'm like, I'm not going to get anywhere that way. I also got an honorable mention Atomfall. I talked about that earlier this year, and I do want to get back into it. I just got stuck in some hard areas. Resident Evil 7 just barely missed my list because I then played 8, and I was like, oh, this is better.
I agree.
Guns of Fury. I know we talked about it early on in the year.
That was a great discovery you made for us. I had a great time with this one.
Metroidvania Metal Slug.
Yeah.
And then my last one just came out recently, and I had to put it on here because I'm really enjoying it. Dispatch. It's by the team. It's not Telltale, but they're doing a very good homage to it.
I think it's some of the developers from Telltale.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know how many, but I'm sure it's like, a few who probably headed the studio back then.
If anybody out there has played like the Telltale Walking Deads or was it The Wolf Among Us,
Batman.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Back to the Future, it's like those games, but now you're superheroes, and it's a very good cartoon art style and voiced by a lot of the people from Critical Role. I just had to put it. It just barely missed my list because I was like, well, this is fun, but also I've played this before.
All right, Vito, your honorable mentions for the year.
Sure. So I have Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment
Yeah,
there.
this is a great one.
I really like it. The battles, they just get really huge and they're really fun with the combinations that you could unlock and everything. A bunch of other things came out and I haven't played it all that much in like a week or two, but I really like it. Doom, the Dark Ages, it's Doom. I'm always going to like Doom. I really love the metal kind of Captain America vibe that you got going on with your saw shield that you could toss around and it bounces off enemies. I actually like the slower kind of paced combat in comparison to Doom, whatever the last one was called. I'm blanking on the name. Eternal, yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Really, really great open world. The story's interesting. Lots to do. The two issues with this is there hasn't been a Switch 2 update for it, which I've kind of been waiting for. But the world's so big that sometimes like you'll spend hours and you're like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it is huge, and it blows my mind. This was a Wii game originally.
Oh, Wii won?
Wii won. Xenoblade Chronicles. Yeah, or no, this was a Wii U. Excuse me, this is the Wii version. Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But it is a massive world, and I get the same sense where it's like, am I playing hours? It's like, well, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. And then I have Hell Is Us, which I really enjoyed. I'm not quite done. I'm like right at the end. I really like this one. The combat's like okay. The main draw for this is the exploration and the story and the lore. The exploration, they leave basically everything up to you. You have notes and stuff, but it's quite refreshing to where you have to use your wits and your own skills to try to figure out things in comparison to like Ubisoft, where it's just a bunch of crap on a map that's like, go here, go there.
It's polka dots.
Yeah, polka dots on the map, and I think that's really good. Outer Worlds 2, I've really enjoyed. It's just same. I haven't put a lot of time into it, just so many other things that have been out. Hollow Knight Silk Song. Started playing it, but put it down because I had just finished Hollow Knight and I kind of just needed a break, and I haven't gone back to it, but I have enjoyed my time with it. Mafia: The Old Country, I talked about in one of the earlier episodes. Gameplay is not anything new, but the representation of Sicily and the culture and all that is like really, really good. Death Stranding 2 is really gorgeous open world, a lot of good missions. It's just weird Kojima, and you'll watch cutscenes and a bunch of weird crap happens and you don't understand what's going on. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is on my honorable mention. I really think it's a fun racing game. The things that drew me is that there's going to be a Mega Man DLC, like Matt said, or DC said, but also I really like the the kart customization and the fact that they have stickers for Japanese like stores and businesses that I visited when I was in Japan, and it like gave me like the nostalgia for the trip and almost brought a tear to my eye. I really liked it. And then Eartheon, which is a shmup by Yuzo Koshiro's Ancient Studios with his music. It's really, really good. Really difficult, but it's a good game to pop in for like maybe a half hour or an hour to try to finish it on a harder difficulty.
Is that coming to console?
That already is out on console.
Okay.
It just came out within the last few weeks.
Awesome.
I think. Yeah, it's
I gotta
really,
look that
really
up.
good. Really good.
I remember you showing me that way back when it wasn't on console yet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man.
Go like that. Wait, because I just get it on Steam when it's available, and I was like, yeah, it'll be out in a couple months.
Yeah.
It's also getting a Genesis cart next year.
I'm waiting for
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, it hasn't had a pre-order yet, but I'm waiting to get that one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, from my list, this was definitely the year of the Ninja. There was a lot of Ninja games out this year, and I put these two on my honorable mentions. I tied them together because, spoiler a little bit, we did cheat on our top 10 where we kind of combined certain games, which, it's fine.
Well, like
That's
you
what we
said,
do.
too many ninjas.
Yeah, too many ninjas. But these two were ones I really enjoyed. It was Ninja Gaiden 2 Black and Ninja Gaiden 4. I just love action games like this, and Ninja Gaiden 2 Black was a bit of a remake of the original, and Ninja Gaiden 4 is the first sequel in a while. 4 was really hard, but I beat it. It was a really great time. Silent Hill F, I really enjoyed the story here, but I have the same complaints as Vito, where the combat just isn't fantastic. It's functional, it's okay, but it really just, to me, it got in the way of everything else. It was more of just, I have to do this because I have to do it, not necessarily because it's fun. I put Hades 2. I had been waiting for this for a while. I really love the original Hades. This is sort of my benchmark for roguelikes. I'm really critical of those, depending on the gameplay style. But Hades, the series, I should say, is a bit sort of the exception. I put Avowed on here. This one really didn't seem to make a big splash when it came out. It's an Obsidian game that came out early in the year. I really enjoy it. It's kind of like Skyrim on a much smaller scale, where you have like these 3 giant maps.
Oh, yeah.
And you can kind of go between the areas.
I forgot it was Obsidian.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It takes a little bit to get going. I actually thought it was a little bit difficult at first because I was playing a wizard, but once you level up and everything clicks, I was having a ton of fun. Like the world is really gorgeous, the story is really interesting. This one just felt like it just kind of fell by the wayside. Sonic Racing Crossroads. I love this game, and it's funny because you felt like how you didn't have control of the car. And I felt like I had the opposite, where the way I set it up, like I just love drifting and the breakneck speed of this game. Yeah. So I think if I could combine Mario Kart and Sonic Crossroads, I have the perfect kart racer right now.
Yeah.
Because even Crossroads has that gimmick where you have these intermission tracks, but I feel like they're way more interesting what Mario Kart does because...
Oh, yeah. I love that they're lap-based instead of a straight line.
Yeah, because it's almost, the difference here is like with Mario Kart, the intermissions are kind of like themed, right? So it's like you can't really break the continuity of it. Whereas Crossroads, it's a multi-dimensional thing, so they could throw you where the hell you want.
Yeah,
and they could afford to have that diversity in tracks. Plus, this already has a lot more content that Mario Kart didn't in like the 3 months it's been out versus the 6 Mario Kart's been out.
Yeah.
I have Luminous Arise. This one came out a few weeks ago. This is a sequel to the Luminous series that started on PSP. Really fantastic puzzle game. This is done by the Tetris Effect developers, so this has the same like insane psychedelic music melding of puzzling.
I forgot to ask, does the music go along with what you do, kind of like Tetris Effect?
It kind of does.
Oh,
yes.
damn.
Yes.
That's
so
fun.
It's and there's also like the burst mode has all these other mechanics. You could play it here too, but it's a great time. It's not a puzzle game that I think is like sort of as easy to get into as Tetris because it just gets fast really fast. But it's a great time. I have Hell Is Us. I really enjoy this game after Vito recommended it. The story here is really what shines. I love the boldness of really sort of digging its heels into the exploration aspect where the maps aren't terribly huge. So it's not feel like, I got lost sometimes, but I didn't feel like I was completely lost. Like I just I hit like a wall. It progressed enough. It's just like similar to Silent Hill F. The combat just wasn't good for me. Like it's totally fine. It's kind of like a hack slash kind of thing. I turned it down. I was having way more fun with the game because I'm so focused on the world building and everything else. So worth playing, but consider tuning the difficulty down because the combat just isn't great at all for me. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I like this for really the same reasons Vito did. It's just a Dynasty Warriors with a Zelda theme, and this is even more bombastic than most Dynasty Warriors games just because it really drives in the Zelda theme. Like there's just these crazy screen-filling attacks that destroy hundreds of enemies at once. It's a great time. Eartheon. This is like Vito said, the Yuzo Koshiro developed game by his team at Ancient. I think his sister still works there. This is like a pure Sega shoot 'em up in every sense, where like the music, the soundtrack, even some of the sound effects are taken from Streets of Rage that I could catch. Like some of the sound effects, yeah, really great time. And the last one I put on here that you also had on there, Deucey, Guns of Fury, the Metal Slug Metroidvania combination that worked really well. I thought it was really great. I actually like more of this game. I don't know if they're ever going to consider DLC.
Yeah, right.
But
or
really, two, or two or something. Yeah, because it was really inexpensive. It was like $12 or $13, and I had a ton of fun playing this one. Like the bosses felt like Metal Slug, but it wasn't so difficult. It was just to where you had to memorize their few attacks, you get through them.
Yeah, if I could beat them, anybody can.
There you go. That's the benchmark for you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we had a pretty healthy honorable mentions list there. So we'll get into our top 10s. This is really the best of the whole year. So Deuce, you want to kick us off with your number 10?
Starting out at number 10 is way back what I played in January before I got sick, and that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I unfortunately haven't gotten back into it in a whole 12 months has passed, but I just think it is like one of the best movie tie-in. I mean, not movie tie-in, but like what
franchise
tie-in kind of games that we haven't had in a while. Like this could be an Indiana Jones movie, and it's just so fun to finally step into his shoes and really feel like Indy.
Yeah, and it's really the best indie game ever made.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that comes close to it.
Yeah, there's nothing close. I mean, it's so immersive. People complain about the first person online that, you don't see indie, but it really excels in making you feel like Indiana Jones because it's so immersive, especially with the puzzles, right?
Well, and you want to, like you're in these tombs and everything, like you want to observe them and explore them that way. Like, third person is great, and like they do have the sections where you use that, but the first person really, really lends itself to immersing you even further.
The thing I think feels the most like him is just lighting up a corridor with the torch above your head.
Yeah.
Then
really
I'm like,
great.
I am definitely Indy now.
Yeah.
And then you see his silhouette, and you see it in, reflecting. I always thought that was really cool.
All the details in here are just really incredible. Like the atmosphere it's really second to none for a lot of games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vito, you're number 10.
My number 10, and it's kind of at the bottom just because it's a remake, remaster. I don't know. I guess a remaster for this one, but it's in the title, right? Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. I really love the original Elder Scrolls 4. I like it more than Skyrim, and to see it with a new coat of paint, it just looks amazing. It's everything the original game was. There is some flaws with it, like the Unreal Engine 5 stutter. They need to fix that. I don't know if they can. And it also seems that Bethesda maybe, I don't know if they've abandoned it. I mean, they've done a couple patches, but it's been months.
They've been kind of having these little updates here and there that some say improve performance, but most people are like, no, this doesn't improve anything. Which is, it's Bethesda. It's expected at that point. Yeah.
I think, to me, this is just because of how it looks. I think it's the way to play Elder Scrolls 4. Like, I wouldn't go back and play the original anymore because they look like potatoes, all the characters. But yeah, I really have enjoyed my time with it. I put quite a bit of hours into it. And barely touched the main story.
Yeah. That's the experience. That's the true experience.
Yeah. That's how you play these games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even sure what the main story is, but I'm loving the
150
the
hours
guilds.
in, and I'm still on the second mission. Story mission. Yeah.
I think isn't this one about like gates opening up?
Yeah, the portal gates.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you'll be like, I'm gonna go do this main mission, but then you'll see a bunch of those Oblivion gates, and you're like, I'm gonna go close this one. I'm gonna close that one, and then you've spent 2 hours closing gates.
There's some flowers I can pick to make a little salve.
Yeah.
I think way back in the original, when I would see an Oblivion gate, I'm like, that looks scary. I don't think I want to do that yet.
Am I leveled up enough?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, it does scale with you too. Like, as you level up, like, they get more difficult, and they'll throw like really high level enemies at you, and you're like, oh god, why did I go in here?
I should have done this at level 1.
All right, guys. My number 10 is one that I played early in the year. Actually, Vito and I went through this co-op, and it was one of the best co-op games I've ever played, just because of how unique it was and all the different gameplay styles it melded together. And this is Split Fiction. The story is really just, I guess it's sort of a commentary on AI, where the idea is this company just brings people in to sort of ingest their ideas, and it spits out sort of a video game based on their ideas. So you play 2 characters where their ideas of video games are what they would expect. So they're sort of like these mini game sections. So this one was, I think it was like a solid 10 or 12 hours. A really beefy co-op game. And it's from the same developers, It Takes Two. And it was just a really stellar experience. And I almost kind of forgot about this one because similar to Avowed. Like, it came out, it got really stellar reviews. I mean, Avowed got like 80s, but this was like high 80s, maybe 90s. I forget what it got as far as like reviews and whatnot. But a lot of people loved it, and then there's just a lot of stuff that came out the rest of the year that kind of maybe overshadowed it. So maybe we'll get some awards, and some people will get more attention to it.
I mean, I saw it everywhere on YouTube. Everybody was like finding a streamer buddy and then pairing up and playing it, and then you beat it, and it's like, okay, well, that's done.
Exactly. That's the downside. Like, once, just like the other games, like, you're done. That's it. Like, you can go through for trophies if you want, but there's really no big difference otherwise.
When we played it, I thought we hit all the side stories. I think there were.
There's
called.
a few we missed.
We missed a few because I saw one giants, and I was like, we didn't do that one. What was that?
Yeah, we did the farting pigs one, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Do you see your number 9?
Number 9, let's start off the number 9s with The Outer Worlds 2. That just came out last month, and, I'm a huge fan of The Outer Worlds, so I could not wait for this one to come out. And luckily, it came out right when I was done beating other games like Resident Evil and stuff.
It was perfect. Yeah.
And so I was like, wow, this might be the first time I've played a new game this year, like right at release.
Wow.
It's just so low because I haven't put that much time into it. And unfortunately, I had to restart recently because I got to like the first main mission that the story's been building up to. And I was just totally unprepared for it. I didn't spec right, and I don't like how they're approaching stealth in this game, where you have to put points into stealth just to be able to like stealth kill somebody. Every guy I would go up to, it says like, he's going to survive this. It'll tell you. He's going to survive this. I'm like, well, then what's the point? Now I'm fighting an entire room full of guys, every room.
I'd be deterred the same way because that's what sucks about these. It's Obsidian, but it is sort of like a Bethesda thing where it's like your stealth has to be sort of upgraded or leveled up to be effective. I'm like, well, if I want to be like a stealth killing ninja, like why?
Yeah.
Why am I just going to knock this guy on his cheeks? And he's like, oh, why'd you do that? And he kills me.
Just let me do it and let me put those points into some other aspect of my personality.
Yeah.
Like anybody you get the drop on, you should be able to kill.
I'd like to get to this game. I'm trying to play through the first game, but I hear the second one is just really, really good.
Oh, it's so... I mean, I talked about it on the What Am I Playing, and everything is so much more streamlined and everything. So I really... That's why it's still on my list. I don't mind that I had to restart because it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to approaching it a little differently, but it's going to go quick, I know.
Oh, yeah. I know if the first one hooked you as much as it did, I'm positive this will hook you once it gets you. Yeah.
And I really didn't feel like I missed much because I've only got one extra crewmate on my ship, and I know I'm going to get like 4 or 5 more, and I'm not even off the first planet yet. So even though I put a lot of time into it, I didn't have to go back that much.
Yeah.
All right, Vito, you're number 9.
So my number 9's another. I guess this one would be a remake.
This is a remake.
Yeah. So this is
I consider it a remake.
Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I love Metal Gear Solid 3. It's probably my favorite Metal Gear Solid game. So there's not really much I could say about the game itself, the original, the story and all that. It's 20 years old, right? So everyone's played it for the most part, but it looks gorgeous. To me, it runs well on PlayStation. Like, I haven't encountered any issues. There are some quality of life things. Like, I believe it's a quick swap that they changed or something.
I'm not sure because I was able to use it just fine. So I don't know what they might have done.
They did something. Sure. There was something that they changed.
Didn't you have to, in the original, you had to go into the pause menu for a
lot more? So there's a quick selector. You're right. So there's a quick selector for camos. And I think, I forgot if there's an item swap too. But yeah, you have sort of like hotkeys with your D-pad and another button.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they did that, which makes it a little bit more accessible. But, it looks gorgeous. Like, the game just looks good. But it's basically, other than the quick swaps and all that, it's the exact same game that came out in 2005, I believe it was. But it's really fun. If you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3, play Delta. It's probably the way to play it now.
Right down to the same dialogue, isn't it?
Yeah, same exact.
Yeah, I forgot if they record any of it, but a lot of the same dialogue or the audio files they used from the original are in this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
My number 9 should be no surprise for anyone. It's Doom: The Dark Ages. I am very much a Doom head, as I've articulated many times on this podcast. And this is the newest that I don't think I enjoyed it as much as Eternal, because I really enjoyed what people didn't like about Eternal, which is a lot like the mobility and a lot of like the fast, crazy, gate or the challenges you have in there. This the Dark Ages is a lot more grounded. It feels more like Doom 2016, which is a great thing. I just didn't put it higher on the list because everything else was just so much more enjoyable, I guess, to an extent. But I finished this one all the way through, and just anytime there's a Doom game, like this trilogy is really among one of my favorite trilogies in the last couple of generations of systems. Like I could play through all 3 games, back to back if I wanted to, but they just capture exactly what I loved about the original games, but now they're modernized, and they've really just taken everything that the originals did and just rebuilt it, and it's really, really good. Deuce, or excuse me, we got Deucey, you're number 8, right?
We're up to
on
8.
Yeah.
Another one I played earlier this year, and I really want to get back into it, is Star Wars Outlaws. I know people recently have been talking bad about it, and like they're shutting it down. They're not making a sequel or anything. They're like, oh, it didn't make us money, but it was a really good Star Wars experience.
I enjoyed this one a lot too.
And I mean, you don't have to be a Jedi in it. You just live in the Star Wars universe. The planets are all beautiful and feel very much like they could be in any of the shows or movies. I mean,
and the scale of them is incredible.
You go to Tatooine and you feel like you're finally in A New Hope or something.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And then you go to like an enemy base and you can explore the entirety of that thing on the inside.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You could sneak around in there and just listen to the stormtroopers having conversations.
Yeah, it's really. I think it's underrated in some senses. But there are some issues with it too. But overall, it's a really fantastic Star Wars game.
I mean, is it Ubisoft?
Yeah. It's Ubisoft.
Yeah. So it does have the same Ubisoft things that Vito has mentioned, but I feel like it's toned down a little. And I know I talked about it when I was playing it that like, oh, I've realized the side missions aren't as important, which might be a good thing for a Ubisoft game. Yeah. It's like now I can really focus on the story and get back into that.
Yeah, the side stuff, for me at least, was really more just about getting money if you needed it. But you kind of get there organically by doing side stuff as you go along.
The cosmetics.
Or the cosmetics, yeah. But it's like really it's just, you can focus on the main game and still have a really awesome time with it.
I feel like I got what I wanted based on my clothing giving me certain attributes and based on like what I have my little speeder bike looking like, and I'm like, I'm fine with that. This is how I want to be. Now let me just finish the rest of the game.
Write it out and enjoy the story.
Yeah.
So I also like Star Wars Outlaws, and I kind of bashed Ubisoft a bit. But sometimes they fall ass backwards into something that's pretty good.
They magooed themselves into this one.
They magooed themselves into it. And the sad thing is there's probably not going to be another one because of how it was received, how it launched. The stealth was kind of baked in and a little bit broken when it first launched.
It's a lot better now.
It's better now.
It's
better now. Yeah, it's a lot better. And like I said, I enjoyed it. It's kind of sad that we're not going to see anymore.
I think they could have had something really good with this because, like you said, Deucey, it's great that you don't play as a Jedi. Like you're just a smuggler, and that's fine. I love being a Jedi, but I also love the sort of almost like tactical approach. Like you're just kind of like making these broker deals with other people in the slums or something. It's really great. It's a different kind of feel to it.
I like the main character, the actress. I don't know who she is, but she reminds me of like literally any woman in the 80s that was like
I was about to
star.
say exactly that. Like just I think it's because of the hair and the look, but she feels like she could have been in a Star Wars movie in the late 70s or something.
And her little animal companion, I mean, you put that guy in a movie, he's going to sell so many plushies and toys. Like, oh my God, it's better than them forcing the porgs on us. He has got so much charisma just on his little face.
Personality. He's the helper. Yeah, I really enjoyed Nick.
It's kind of interesting that the recent Star Wars game have had little cute companion. Like, what was the name of the robot in Survivor?
BD-8 or something like that?
Yeah.
BD-1 or something like
that? BD-88? Something like that.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, we have to have a cute companion.
Yeah.
All right, Vito, you're number 8.
My number 8, I just started playing, and this is a Donnie recommendation. I'm glad he recommended it. And it's Dispatch. Matt, or Deucey, kind of, I was calling you Matt, sorry. Deucey always.
That's from back in the day.
Yeah, really back in the day. Deucey mentioned a lot of the things about it. It's kind of a superhero workplace comedy in the vein of old Telltale narrative games like Back to the Future, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. It's really funny. The characters are really well written and well acted. The main character, I think, is Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. The reason why it ends up on number 8 and not higher is that with these types of game, there's not a lot of gameplay. It's just like you'll get a dialogue choice that you press a button. There might be a mini game and all that, and all that's well done. It's just you're basically watching a show, kind of an interactive show.
I feel like this one, because the premise is the reason it's called Dispatch is you're a superhero dispatcher,
right?
Which is a funny premise on its own. And I feel like that gameplay aspect is more than any other Telltale game has really done.
Well, it's because it's way more interactive, but also it's perfect because it ties into the narrative of the game.
Yeah.
Where you're like you're a former superhero, like your suit got destroyed, and now you're part of a superhero dispatch network where it's like these calls come in.
Yeah.
And you're dispatching was basically these supervillains turned superheroes who I call it like the James Gunn dynamic, where it's like sort of like the sort of misfits and sort of the what's the word I'm looking for, like the dysfunctional team aspect who have to learn to be nice to each other and like sort of learn to love each other, kind of thing.
It's like Suicide Squad if they weren't forced under penalty of death.
Exactly. Yeah. So it has that charm to it too. But that's exactly why it works with that gameplay, where it's like it's simple, but then at the same time, like you're Roberts playing as someone who's supposed to assign superheroes to take care of these calls and make them synergize. It's really great for what it does.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like it didn't make my list. It's only right on the honorable mention because when you're playing the dispatch times, I get more anxiety during that than I do playing any of the other games on this list. I just feel like, oh no, I got to make the right decision. This is going to fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which also ties into the story of the game. You're trying to make a comeback, and all these enemies turned heroes are trying to make a comeback as well.
Well, and also plays the story because the idea is like you're not supposed to be perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect, right? So the idea is like they're going to fail calls because of their own personalities conflicting. Like it kind of has that story arc where it's like they're really dysfunctional, and then you realize like, look, like if we just work together, we can make it work.
What is it? Episode 2 where they're all trying to like sabotage each other because someone's going to get cut.
Every call, if you pair them up, one of them's going to trip.
Like trip the other one. Or, I also think it's funny that you're called like the Z team or something. Like you're the lowest like tier with the lowest tier heroes. They're just all kind of just F ups, you know?
Like the Mighty Ducks, you just have these kids you're trying to corral to be a good hockey team.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Absalom. This is a Lizard Cube and Guard Crush Games game, which you might be familiar with them from like Streets of Rage 4 and Shredder's Revenge, those type of games. You know how much I love Streets of Rage 4, so once they tied, again, a roguelike to this beat-em-up genre, it's like the perfect match made him for me because you have that gameplay loop where, like beat 'em ups, you get through a few levels, maybe you'll do better than the last time, but you start back at the beginning. But in here, you have 4 different characters with distinct abilities, and of course, you get all these different abilities you can level up, and they also synergize with other things, including your own native attacks. And it's such a great fun time. Like there's parrying in here as well. It's not so hard to do. It's really generous, I should say, with the window. It has online co-op, which Vito and I played, and it was just pure chaos at some point because the enemies scale up with you as far as like their number, and there's more of them.
Yeah.
And I swear, I don't know if it was a Switch 2. I don't know if it would do this on PS5, but it was just going like 20 frames a second. There's so much stuff going on there. But it's just great. It's just such a great gameplay loop because it's rooted in beat 'em ups, which I already just love. It's one of my favorite genres. And you add the roguelike aspect where sort of each you know how to get through the certain levels and like certain enemy attacks, but you're still going to get overwhelmed once you hit a certain points. And you also can persistently level up certain things like your HP, like your companion health, stuff like that. So you kind of have that going with you where it's not just sort of totally defeating every time you lose. But this was just a really fantastic game. It's definitely worth playing.
I think we talked about something else, but just offline we were talking about like roguelikes are invading everything, and sometimes we don't like them or we get tired of them. Like that Prince of Persia that I mentioned, like I would enjoy that as a regular game where I get to experience
linearly.
Experience the story and play the way they wanted me to play it. But roguelikes really fit well with any game that started as like an arcade concept.
Yeah.
So beat 'em ups, shmups, things like that.
Breakout, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah.
Anything that's sort of like a quick arcade genre.
If you were going into an arcade and expecting to die, like this is a roguelike should fit in well with that.
Yeah. And that's exactly why Absalom works so well for me, because it took all those elements I loved about arcade games, plus it's just the production is really well done, right? Because it's obviously a Streets of Rage 4 developer, so it has that similar art style as far as like just the aesthetic, but it's sort of like a fantasy kind of thing, and it works just amazingly well. It's really, really great. All right, Ducey, you're number 7.
We're up to 7. And that is going to be the one sports game that has made my list this year.
It's fun because that also made your top 10 sports game, didn't it? Or no? Was that an honorable mention?
No, it might. I can't remember. No, I think it was an honorable mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
right. But no,
no,
this one overall has just seeped its way in here, and it's F1 25. I know last year or the year before I was talking about like iterations of sports games you don't really want to put them on this list because they're just going to be the same thing as the next year. But this one surprised the hell out of me. They like totally overhauled the career mode and the team building career mode. They added all of the F1 movie stuff that you could do. And just recently, there's some DLC where there's like more quick little races and survival type games that will help you unlock things.
Oh, that's cool. So like you race and you basically have to sort of like be at a certain position or something?
You just do what their objectives are telling you, and if you do it, then you win like a helmet or a pair of gloves or something.
Cool. Yeah.
So they're still adding more to it. They recently came out and said that actually F1 26 is just going to be DLC for this one.
I think that's bold, but that's awesome that they're considering doing that just to see how it works.
Yeah. And I think like this should be taken a look at for other games like football and basketball and stuff. Like that's all you need is just the roster updates, maybe the team updates. The weird thing about F1 26 though is that they could legitimately build a whole new game because a lot of the rules are going to change in real life. The cars are going to be different. The tracks are going to be different and everything, and the way they do their weekends. So it's like they had an excuse to make a new game, but they're not going to. They're just going to DLC this one.
Yeah, it's cool because it sounds like they're going to focus a lot more on 27, right? Because that's going to be like a full release.
Yeah.
But really interesting they're doing 26 is sort of like a DLC. It's definitely different, I would say.
And what I enjoy about that is that means I can also keep what I've already done on 25. Like,
oh, that's true.
The F1 movie stuff is still going to be on the menu and everything. Whereas, like, if a new year came out, they're going to focus on something new. And I'm like, well, what if I wanted to go back and still do the movie things or other stuff like that? Whereas this one, they're going to combine it all.
And I expect it'll probably be a little bit cheaper too, which is also a nice little bonus. I'm sure it's probably, $10-15 where it might be, but I imagine it'll be a little bit cheaper than a full release.
Yep.
Yeah. Vito, you're number 7.
My number 7 is something that you already brought up. It's Split Fiction. As a co-op game, I mean, we had a great time with it. I think it looks gorgeous. I think the variety of missions is great. You know, you mentioned the farting pig stage.
I love a good fart.
Yeah. Each stage is different and unique. The boss battles are fun. The only problem with this type of game is, like you said, is like once you finish it, there's really no reason to go back. I have been trying to convince my wife to play it with me because I think she would enjoy it, but she's like, I don't know. I don't even know the controller. Like, how am I going to play this?
Doesn't it tell you most of the time?
It does.
Like, it flashes up on there.
Yeah. But it's definitely worth a playthrough. And what's also good about it is, like, if you have a friend that is not local, you could, what's it called?
It's called the Friend Pass. Or
Friend Pass.
Yeah,
just one of you has
you just
to
need
own
one copy of the game. Yeah, and they could download like basically the game itself and play for free.
And that's how I started playing it with you. Is I just had the Friends Pass, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I hope to get my wife to play because I do want to play it again because it was so fun. So
that's the one way you're going to play it over is finding new partners.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah. I did that with No Way Out like 3 times.
Yeah.
Did you and I play through it, Ducey?
No, we did. It Takes Two.
Okay, we did It Takes Two because I played through it No Way Out with a couple of friends because I think it was with Randy or something. I remember. And granted, that's shorter at least, but yeah, sometimes you have to play through the whole game. But at least it helps just like I know where to go.
So you haven't played either one of those, so it's like you may have to go through them again.
4th time? Oh my god! No Way Out's really cool though. Yeah, that'd be a good time. My number 7 is Dispatch. I didn't expect to put this so quickly on my list because I will say it's easy to get into like what I'll call honeymoon hyperbole, where you love something so quickly, right? It's so great, right? Because you just have that you're really into it at that point. And Dispatch, like, when you come down to it, it's 8 episodes. They're about 45 minutes to an hour each, which is just perfect for if you want like a quick session, kind of like a TV show.
To me, it feels actually, maybe it's because of the Dispatch missions, but it feels shorter than the old Telltale games.
I think they do because I was trying to remember like how long some of the episodes or chapters felt in the earlier games. And this is just way more breezy, but I actually had the opposite where it's like, I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
Right? Because the writing in here is really good. All the characters have very defined personalities. They're all very hilarious. And, there's one character who I laughed so hard when I saw his name spelled. It was Flambe. Flambae, because he's like this, like Latin lover, cheesy guy with like ripped abs and everything. And he lights flames.
My wife happened to be walking by and his name was on the screen and she was like, Flambe.
Yeah. So this game is just, it's freaking hilarious. I really enjoy it. The art style is gorgeous. The last episode was really stunning. Like I was just playing through, I was like, wow, this looks, I would say it's like I don't want to sound like like it's too much, but it's like it reminded me of like the Spider-Verse movies. Like I really like those. Like how vivid those art styles and hard to find those art styles are. That's kind of what I got from this game all throughout, and especially in episode 8. I'm hoping to play through it again because there are different pathways. Like I was talking to our friend Randy, and he had a different ending than what I had. Like totally different. So I'm curious what those different changes are, but. The gameplay here is very fun for what it is. Like we talked about how kind of it's relatively simple. You just kind of assign heroes to certain calls. There's these keywords that clue you in on what you might need for your stats. Like you want to pair up enemies who might be able, or excuse me, pair up heroes who have a high attack range, so they'll take on these goons. Or you want someone who's very chatty to go speak at a seminar or something like that. Really funny, hilarious stuff. And there's a lot of times in this game where I was literally laughing out loud at just some of the stuff they were doing. It was killing me.
I think there was one literally where they had to go save a cat out of a tree.
Yeah. There's the guy, his name is Punch Up, and he just punches people in the dick. That's his move. Because he's shorter in stature, we'll say. He's like 3'3" and he's really strong. So really hilarious. 8 episodes. I went through it in like 4 days because I kind of treat it like a show where it's like I might watch an episode or two a night, and then less than a week I enjoyed my time with it. It's like $30. It's an unexpected huge game. Like they've sold 2 million already, and they were talking about how that's what they expect over like the next year or 3 years, and they sold that in the last like 2 months.
Yeah, I would say get on a season 2 already for this. I
would love a season 2. So if you haven't played Dispatch, it's a really great experience and a really great time. It's kind of straightforward, but it's worthwhile.
I would watch this as a regular show.
You could, yeah. It's that damn good. It really has the flow of like a proper TV show. It's really great. All right, do you see your number 6, which I think is a great choice?
Yes, and it is, I don't know, how old is it now?
5 years, 2020.
I finally got around to it after
you got
talking
the half
about
a decade game of the year.
Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
Or Village is what they call it. I mean, Don recommended it constantly when it first came out. He was like, we are both Resident Evil fans. You need to play this one. And I just couldn't get over the hump of Resident Evil 7 at first. But once I did that earlier this year, I was like, oh, naturally I have to follow it up with 8, and I was just so hooked on this. I beat it quicker than 7. Like I think it only took me about 7 or 8 days, and that's not full days. I was still going to work and then playing it at
we have things to do. We're not like not like the old days where we could spend like 8 hours.
But I really liked how it had a lot of homages to the previous games in the series and everything. Not overtly, but just like how the levels were set up and how the different areas of the map were and everything. So, yeah, I haven't actually done the DLC yet. I started a little, but it was late and I was dozing off, so I don't really even know what the first part of the story is of it. The little girl or something
it's Ethan's daughter.
Yeah, she's grown up and stuff, but like I got to go into that because I really enjoyed the DLC for Resident Evil 7. And I know those were some really quick times, and I know this one is going to be a good way to like kind of tie a bow on that and get ready for Resident Evil 9.
You'll enjoy it because it's more puzzle based, I would say. Like I think her name's Rose. She's less reliant on combat, just a little bit, but it's only like 2.5 hours. So once you get into it, like you're like, oh, it's over, it's breezy. But I enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, I might even replay the main story of 8. I'm not sure.
Oh, there you go.
It just. The one thing that kind of bugged me was how Ethan, because you're playing first person in 7 and 8, he is literally not a character in the Resident Evil universe.
Yeah, he's I know what you're saying. Like it's like he's not as defined as like a Leon or Claire or Chris. Like he has his own character arc and character story, but because he's not front and center, literally, it just feels like they made it more like you're Ethan, right? Versus
he doesn't have a background, whereas like Leon, you've heard about, like he was the rookie cop in Resident Evil 2. Claire was the younger sister of Chris, and she was in college while Resident Evil 1 was happening. Whereas Ethan, he seems very self-contained to 7 and 8. He has this wife. He had to go look for her because she'd been missing.
It's almost like a Silent Hill thing.
Yeah. And then when you unlock the character statues and stuff in Resident Evil 8, he doesn't have a face.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you guys doing? He's a character in this universe. And it's like, nope, you're the character.
If I recall, they did a lot to block his face. Right? Because you sent me that screenshot where it's like his face is blurred like on a character view or something like that. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, you never get to see yourself in like reflections.
Yeah.
When you're doing the third person mode, you can never position the camera to look.
He's also looking away.
Yeah. He's always moving when you move the camera. And then when I got that statue, I was like, well, that seals it. They just don't want to give this guy a face.
Yeah, he's a man with no face. Yeah.
You know, I also played Resident Evil 7 and 8. And like you, I couldn't ever play Resident Evil 7 because I don't like jump scares. And that's kind of why I didn't play Silent Hill 2 for a long time. But then I played 7 and I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then I played 8 and I really, really loved it. I just think it's really funny that Lady Dimitrescu was so heavily advertised and she's only in like the first, fourth of the game.
She's the first boss, basically.
Yeah.
And
that whole
after that.
That whole mansion is really fun and cool. It's just like she's gone real fast and that's it.
I remember one time I saw the fight with her when she transforms, and even on YouTube they were selling it as sort of like this final fight, and it's like, no, it's the final fight with her, but then there's 3/4 of the game left.
Yeah.
I would say they probably didn't expect her to be so big.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. But it's interesting that, she was such a big piece of the marketing. And, I was even shocked when I played. I was like, wow, that she's gone now?
Yeah.
There's a whole segment with the woman with the doll. Her house. I was like, and I had just finished Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm like, this is like Silent Hill in the middle of Resident Evil game.
Or even Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
Because it's very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Vito, your number 6s, because I did the same on my list at some point here.
Yeah, I have
Sixes,
two numbers that are kind of a little bit of a cop-out because they're 2 games, but I think they're similar enough that I could put them together.
I also just had a hard time choosing between these two.
Same. Yeah. So my number 6 is Shinobi Art of Vengeance and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. They're both ninja games, so what the hell? They're going together, right?
And they're both classics from back in the day.
They are different enough. Shinobi's very fast-paced, combat oriented, and Ninja Gaiden's more of single button kind of stuff.
I would say the opposite between the two, frankly.
Yeah. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just playing it wrong, I don't know.
No.
But I really love both of them, and I couldn't pick which one I liked more, so I'm like, they're equal. I just think they're both really, really fun. I mean, the art style is different between the two as well. Like Ninja Gaiden's a more retro and Shinobi's a more hand-drawn kind of art style. I just think they're both really fun, and they're both ninja games. So they're going together, and I've had a ball playing them. So they're both at number 6.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten Shinobi yet. I've played Ninja Gaiden, but I've seen the artwork of Shinobi, and I'm like, wow, that is amazing looking.
It is really stunning. I'll talk about more of that later, but Shinobi, really gorgeous game. My number 6 is Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Nice.
I really, really enjoy this game. It's I love collectathons, and Ducey, you and I have always been defenders of Donkey Kong 64 with its 3,000 collectibles.
Yeah.
This has, I think, I don't know if it's as much. It can feel like it sometimes.
There's a lot.
700 and something bananas?
777 bananas, I think it is. And I don't know how many other coins and other things you collect. Or the fossils, excuse me.
The fossils.
There's a ton of fossils. This is just a really fantastic 3D platformer that really allows you to do whatever you want. You can destroy most of the levels in here. All the levels have a ton of variety. One of my favorites is one I talked about way back, sort of like this burger world. The lava is like fried oil.
Nice.
That's bubbling. And one of the objectives is you kind of have to free up these switches so you could stack a burger so you could go up to the next level.
It's burger time.
Yeah, it's like burger time. It just has so much charm to it. Donkey Kong and Pauline are so freaking great. The bosses and the abilities are really excellent. My only complaint about this game is also the best thing about it. It's just that once you get so many bananas, I didn't get all of them. I probably got 600 something out of 700 whatever. You get really tired of mashing R to sort of have your radar go off to see where they are, and also just digging everywhere because you have to dig for most of these bananas or most of the fossils. So that's a minor nitpick because this to me is still a 9.5 out of 10 game because of how gorgeous it is and how realized of a platformer it is. And to me, I wish this was a Switch 2 launch game because this feels like more of a Switch 2 launch game. It was, a few weeks after the fact.
Yeah, it was only
a couple weeks.
Barely a month later.
Yeah, about a month maybe. You're right, yeah. So this is for me, if it was between this and anything else on Switch 2, this is the game to get. It's just so good, such a huge game. I think I put close to 40 or 50 hours into it after it's all said and done because, again, you can pick up and play, dig some more, get a few bananas, have at you, whatever.
I do want to get back into it because of the DLC that is coming, or
it already came out
okay.
within a few weeks. Actually, within the first month, they got DLC. I forgot about that. I have to try that myself.
And I just love that they put in the original DK Island from Donkey Kong Country to do it. And then there's that new. is it sort of a roguelike type approach to things or something like that?
I think. Oh, you know what? That was the original DLC they
Yeah.
came out with. Maybe the other one where the other separate island maybe isn't out because the roguelike thing.
Oh, yeah,
that is the one that's out.
Yeah, where you have to get now the green crystals or whatever, and then you do a run and you stop and then you level up and go again. And I'm like, well, I would be willing to do that.
Yeah, like the gameplay in there is so good that it would fit with something like that.
Yeah.
All right, you see we're cracking the top 5 right here.
Okay, and here we go with what you called honeymoon hyperbole, or what was that?
I would say that, but it's like it's really just like a loose thing. But yeah, sometimes you're so high on the game that you just love it right away.
And I didn't expect to love this one as much as I do.
I didn't either because I actually enjoyed it quite a bit too. I should put on my honorable mentions, frankly.
It is Ball X Pit or Ball Pit. I'm not sure. There's an X in there for some reason.
Ball Cross Pit.
Yeah,
I just call it Ball Pit. I don't even know.
So it is basically, it's kind of like Vampire Survivors where you just do one thing and you collect the little blue gems to level up, and then once you hit a level you pick a new upgrade and then you continue going on. But this is what's that game? Breakout?
Breakout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where you have the paddle at the bottom and then you shoot a ball up and you break a block. And this is just to like the 11th degree because you're a character and these balls all have different attributes to them. Some can freeze, some can shoot lightning, some can cause earthquakes when they hit an enemy, and the blocks are moving down at you like Space Invaders, and you just have to go balls to the wall, you might say.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
and just balls to the wall here.
Launch every ball at every block, level up, and then you fight 3 bosses in a run. You gain a lot of money or
resources.
Resources and materials.
Because the idea is like there's like a pit in the earth or something like that, and you have this elevator that goes up to these different levels because that's the different biomes of sorts, and you have to get a gear which you collect by beating the level with 2 different characters. So there's that where you can't just pick the old reliable. You have to kind of experiment.
Yep, and then when you go back, there's a whole like base building aspect to this where you plant trees for wood and crops for wheat and buildings for better characters. And like I said, I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but I got hooked, and I don't even mind the base building aspect. Sometimes that kind of turns me off.
Yeah, I agree because you have to kind of... Because when you harvest your resources, it's sort of like a pachinko thing or pinball where you set them on a path and they just kind of bounce off things. So I haven't gotten to that point where I've been enjoying setting up like proper boundaries so they can harvest the most or sort of optimally harvest.
I've gotten good at like if I need a building built, I'll trap them in there, so when I shoot it in, they just constantly bounce back and forth on the things. I'm sure
something I'm not doing correctly, but it's sort of like that's secondary to the main game anyway.
But you can always move the buildings around anyway, get them out of the way, and build something new in that spot. And I'm only at the 3rd level, but I think there's like 8 or 9.
There's about 8.
Yeah,
and there's also New Game Plus on top of that. I'm stuck on the 4th right now.
And there's like I don't even know how many characters, maybe 12 or 16 or
probably like 16, 15, 16. Yeah, I think there's quite a few portraits on there.
4 levels of 4 or something like that. And each one levels up individually. Each one has a different power. And you actually want to go back to previous levels and power them up in those and learn their maneuvers and see if they work better on the further levels.
Yeah, really, really fantastic gameplay loop. And this kind of goes back to what Deuce and I were talking about as far as like roguelites and what formats work for us. Because he and I think, are probably like even as far as like our taste for roguelikes.
Yeah.
It's really hit or miss. Sometimes it's a miss, but when you have like this arcade style breakout kind of clone, it's really great. And the art style is kind of pixelated and silly. It's really fun. It reminds me of like Plants vs. Zombies in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it's a dirt cheap game. It's like $15 if you want for Switch or PS5. And it's on Game Pass as well.
Oh, that's how I've been playing.
Yeah, it's a great distraction. It's really great. I've been doing that like at night before I go to bed. I'll play a section or 2, right?
Yeah.
It's really great. Yeah. Vito, you're number 5s.
My number 5s. Yeah, it's another one where it's kind of a cop out, but I love
combo pack again.
Yeah, I love both of these equally. So it's Absalom and Hades 2. So Absalom, Donnie already touched on. I agree with everything he said. I also really love the art and the music. It's just
Mick Gordon did some tracks.
Mick Gordon, it's just great music, and had a blast playing co-op despite the slow down sometimes. And Hades 2 is fantastic. I mean, if you liked the original Hades, you'll like this. There's a little bit more to this one. because at a certain point, so you start. I don't know if any of you have played it yet. A little bit,
I've gone through a little bit of it, but then Absalom took me away.
right? Which makes sense. You know, I understand. So like you start and you're going down, like you're going down levels, and at some point you get called because Olympus is being attacked by Kronos, the Titan of Time. So you have to go to the surface to get to Mount Olympus as well. However, the fates have put a curse on you that you could only stay on the surface for a certain amount of time. So what you have to do is gather resources throughout the different levels, stages, and then brew a potion so you can stay on the surface and do that. So there's like 2 separate paths that you could go on.
That's about where I got to.
Yeah. But also, I mean, the progression is really good because each run you'll get something that helps you in the next run. And it has that draw, just like Absalom, where you get a certain, you know, you maybe lose at a certain level or stage, but you're like, I could do better the next time because I got these upgrades, right? And for me, I just love Greek mythology. I mean, that's why I like the original God of Wars as well.
Nice.
So I really love both these games. I can't wait to get back home so I could play both of them again. You know, being away, I don't have my Switch 2.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring it with me, so I can't play them, but I've been itching to play them both. But yeah, both those are tied at 5.
Yeah, those are both fantastic choices. I probably should have put Absalom higher on mine too, but there was just so much
There's
going
a lot.
on. There's a lot. Yeah. My number 5s, this might be why Vito did this too. I put Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Shinobi Art of Vengeance because, like I said, I could not pick between these two because I love both these games for pretty much the same reasons. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was a little bit before Shinobi. This has a gorgeous pixel art style. It melds a lot of the some of the things from the original games, like some of the music is kind of remixed and some of the enemies are like, you know, modernized. It's just, it will test your sort of what's what I'm looking for. It'll test your platforming 2D skills quite a bit because there's quite a bit to learn. There's like a sort of a parrying system. Like certain enemies will, you know, if you power up, if you kill an enemy with like a projectile, you'll power up your sword, and you know, if you do the opposite where you kill an enemy with a sword, it powers up your projectile. There's a lot of platforming challenges in here in Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It's really, really good. It's just one of the best 2D modernized games I've played in a long time. Reimagining.
I liked in that one, if you hit a certain enemy that's sort of glowing, you get the extra power, and then you can take down a bigger enemy in one hit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there watching him block you.
It's supposed to be like the 1/ninja thing. Where it's like, you know, like, was it measure twice, slice once, or something like that? Whatever it is, that sort of trope. And Shinobi Art of Vengeance is similar in a lot of ways. This has a very different art style where it looks more like Streets Rage 4. I think this was actually the same developer as Streets Rage 4 and also published by Lizard Cube, who did Absalom. But this surprised me because whereas Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, it's more traditional 2D where it's like you're just going through level by level and sort of a progression, right? Like you have it's from point A to point B. Shinobi, each level is sort of its own self-contained Metroidvania area. So it's like there's certain areas you can't access early on in the game. You have to go back once you get certain abilities. I 100% of this because I loved it so much. It got pretty hard towards the end, but it wasn't anything that was unmanageable. And it just has such a well-realized art style. The combat is extremely fun. Like you have your Shinobi abilities and like your different spells, and you can also customize those as well. Both these games are just top tier sort of reimaginings of old games or old franchises. Just I had to put this at top 5 because, you know, I grew up on this and it just makes perfect sense that I love them both so much this year.
I remember when they were first announced at various different game shows, and we were just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Finally, after so many years.
Yeah, Shinobi 3 was, I mean, they've released a few Shinobi since then, but I mean, Shinobi it's been kind of a dormant series for a long time. Ninja Gaiden less so, but like I said, this has been like the year of the ninja with 3 Ninja Gaiden games and a Shinobi. It's really crazy, right? All right, you see we're whittling away here. We have your number 4.
Yeah, so my top 4 are all the games I spent the most time on.
Yeah, you have
it's
interesting because you have a very varied list.
Yeah.
As far as your top 4.
And so this one is dropped down to number 4 because I spent a ton of time on it and did not finish it. It is XCOM Enemy Unknown. I have always liked the tactics type games, but like Don, I'm not the best at them.
I think you're better than I am, at least.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Well, for this one, somehow I got the furthest I'd ever gotten before. I'm at one of the last levels, which a lot of times I don't even realize these tactic games have levels. But I really enjoyed the base building in this, and I really enjoyed just the tactics aspect of it. I got so good that like this has a permadeath, and I wasn't really afraid of dying too much in these until the level I got stuck on, and I'm like, oh no, all of my most top tier guys are probably gonna all get wiped out in one go. I'm gonna put this to the side right now. I'm not prepared for that. But yeah, I just had a really fun time with it. It's right up my alley when it comes to like aliens and that sort of thing. It's like X-Files, but also Space Marines.
Yeah.
I've tried, I don't know, 2 or 3 times since it came out to really get into this game. And this year was the year where I finally sat down and focused and got the furthest, like I said, I had ever gotten.
If you got damn near the end, that's quite a bit of time because these games are not short.
No.
As far as I know. Yeah. Vito, you're number 4.
My number 4 is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I really love Mario Odyssey. It's probably my favorite Mario 3D platformer. So I knew when I found out the team behind that game was doing this, that it was going to be right up my alley. I really, really love the art style. It looks gorgeous. It's really fun. Each, banana challenge to get is fun. The bosses are all creative, in my opinion. I did get a little tired of mashing R towards the end to kind of dig, but that's the main mechanic of the game. Also, I like you. I got maybe about 600 and something bananas, and then once you get to the end game, post game content, they're like, "Here's another 120," and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step away from it a little bit, and I'll come back to it later, and I will go back to it later because I do really love it. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. It should have just launched with the Switch, like you said. It should have been the game to launch with. I recommend that you play it if you haven't played it yet. It's really fun.
Good times. My number 4, this is a series that's always been very near and dear to me. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater. I hadn't played Metal Gear Solid 3 in a really long time. Like I had played the HD remaster that they released, over the last like 10, 15 years.
Oh, I didn't even do that one.
You didn't even do that one? Wow.
I haven't played it since it originally came out on PS2.
So this will be even more fresh if you ever get through this one.
Yeah.
So it'd been a while, and I still remember like all the big key story beats, right? Like you still remember all the twists and turns or anything like that, but it really just took me back to 2004 when I played through this game, because as sort of modern as it looks and as modern as it tends to play, it's still very much rooted in the original game for better and sometimes worse. But I love this game. I've always loved it. It's one of my favorite in the entire series. It might be my favorite in the series, I would say. Just as far as story and just sort of like what it built, even though it was sort of like a sequel that was a prequel in a way.
It was the prequel even before the Nintendo games.
Yeah, yeah. So the story was a really great time to rediscover all over again, because again I had forgotten so much of some of the bits and pieces of that were peppered throughout. This game felt shorter than it did back then. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm just older now. But this was just such a special game for me. The story is just so freaking good. The cutscenes and the last fight with the boss is still as stunning and as spectacular as it was 2 decades ago when this game was well ahead of its time and probably pushing the PS2 to its absolute limits.
Yeah.
It doesn't push the PS5 or modern consoles to their limits, but it's just a fantastic reimagining of an old classic. Mm-hmm. All right, do you see a crack in the top 3?
All right, podium finishes here, and this is another one that I spent a ton of time on, and I'm willing to get back into it. Mario and Luigi Brothership. I know I've talked about it a lot on the What Are We Playing? And I think I've done about 2 or 3 of the bosses, and I think there's only 4 or 5 total. So for an RPG, I'm further than I get in most RPGs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I've always loved the Mario and Luigi series, even way back the first one on Game Boy Advance. I actually did beat that one, played through all of it, and I believe I beat Partners in Time on DS. Mm-hmm. And so to come back to this one, and I mean it's a nice JRPG style with the turn-based fighting, but also it has the Mario and Luigi flair where each button does something for both brothers. They also have 2 different things, like you can build up Mario to be stronger with his hammer and Luigi to be stronger with his jumps and vice versa. And they have awesome little brother combo moves. That's basically your magic. And yeah, I just have really enjoyed the story of this and want to get back into it.
I still have to get to this one because hearing you talk about it pretty regularly, like, God, I wish I need this going down in price or something because I got to get to it at some point.
I mean, we did Mario RPG really quick when that came out, and then
that was a breeze.
This followed right up with that, and I'm like, oh man, this is. I don't even care if they do another Mario RPG. I like the Mario and Luigi series for RPGs.
I like to revisit those because I only played through most of the first Game Boy Advance one, and then I didn't get. I own the others, but I'd like to get through those because those are supposed to be really still again, especially Part in Time. I think
The one I've never played, but I wanted to. I think it was Inside Story or
Bowser's Inside Story. I heard that one's really good.
where they go inside Bowser. That's awesome.
It's like that movie Inner Space from way back in the day. Yeah.
And I think there are segments where you play as Bowser while they're inside.
Oh, that's hilarious! Like, he's like a robot or something. Yeah. All right, Vito, you're number 3 for the year.
So my number 3 is something that it could go higher if I'd finish it. There's just something above that was kind of, I was still working through at the time this came out, and then other things came out which have kind of prevented me from finishing it. But my number 3 is Claire Obscure Expedition 33. And I know you guys probably will say a little bit more. I know one of you has finished it at least. But I really love the story, and it looks gorgeous. The music's really, really good. Mm-hmm. Even the combat, like I generally don't like turn-based combat games. Like they usually bore me, and that's not to say those games are bad. I just, I can never like just get into it. But this one, it's more active because there's the countering system. So you really have to like pay attention to when things are happening and learn the boss's like moves so you could properly counter them. And the story is really, really good. I just need to finish it. I could totally see it going higher if I actually sat down and finished it. But it's great. And I'll let I know Donnie's got it up there, so
I've got it somewhere up there.
Yeah, and I'll let him kind of talk more about it. But yeah, it's really great.
It's still you still got in top 3.
Yeah, no, it deserves to be in the top 3.
That's pretty high contention.
Yeah,
I do want to get into it and start it because I don't normally go for games like that, but even just seeing it during all the previews and then hearing Don talk about it, I'm like, yeah, this sounds like I could do it. And it sounds like right up my alley.
I would say try it out and don't be afraid to knock down the difficulty, Ducey.
Oh, yeah.
It could get pretty hard. Even for me, I was like, God, F and A. All right. My number 3 is one I talked about very much early in the year. It was Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. This is a Sega JRPG that's kind of real-time in some senses, but
I can't believe this was this year.
Yeah, well, it came out end of last year, I think it was. But
it felt like you talked about it for 2 years.
I think it was like, it was probably like January when I first played. It was like one of the earlier games of the year I played.
Yeah.
But the story is just so silly, whimsical, and melodramatic at the same time. Like the story is just, you play as Ichiban Kasuga, who's like a former Yakuza, which in the first game was accused of murder, and he's sort of out to sort of get justice in a sense, or revenge. Second game, now he's sort of he works at a job placement center, placing former Yakuza people at jobs. And there's this whole conspiracy aspect where his mom suddenly reaches out to him from Hawaii. She's supposed to have been dead. So you go on this crazy journey from Japan and Hawaii, which is great, having those 2 different locales. And this game just reminds me so much of just like the early PS2 games that was just... It embraced that was the video game, right? Like, it doesn't take itself seriously all the time. The story can take some serious beats. Like, you fight Denny Trejo, who's like this crazy drug lord with machetes, of course. But then, at the same time, you'll go into an arcade to shoot the breeze with your teammates, and you'll go play some, like, Virtua Fighter 3 or something like that.
Don't they have the actual games in there?
They have the ROMs in there. So you can play, like, the emulator arcade games. It's really great. The combat is really what pulls me in so far because, like I said, this is a JRPG, and like you do, so, like, it's really dependent on if I finish JRPGs sometimes because of like the combat, the story. The story here was just so silly and fun that it actually had me sort of compelled to play through it. But beyond that, the combat was great because each character has, you can assign different classes to them. There's all these different attacks that can, again, synergize with other attacks that are other teammates. And you can also move around the field. So it's not like, you're statically sitting there. It's like you can actually move around a bit within a certain range. So you can position yourself in front of enemies to trigger like environmental attacks or knock them into others. There's just so much at play during combat that takes the monotony out of the turn-based JRPG stuff that makes it so much fun that it was one of my top of the year. And it was like one of the first games I played this year. It was a really great time.
It's interesting that like none of my list has really matched up with your guys's, but all of our number 3s are JRPG
that
type
is
games.
interesting.
Like,
we have at least one on there.
And it's like the modern evolution because even Mario and Luigi gives you these little items. They're called plugs that help give you stat boosts during the fights, so that like when you do a certain thing, you get a certain amount of stuff back, like more coins or more items or something like that. Or it just helps defeat like a whole area of enemies. And yeah, I just found it interesting that all 3 of ours are like, hey, you remember JRPGs, but you're probably going to be bored with them. Here, let's spice them up.
Well, what's one interesting sort of parallel with all these two is if you consider like all three combat systems, like you just look at like a Dragon, Mario and Luigi, and Clair Obscur, they all have some influence of Mario RPG, right? Because they'll have some sort of timed hits.
Oh yeah, yep.
Especially like Dragon Infinite Wealth and especially Expedition 33, where there's some aspect of interactivity where it's like if you time your button press or if you mash, like you get enhanced damage or whatever else. So
even Mario and Luigi, when you do the team up attacks, like there's one where you kick a Koopa shell at the enemies, but first the brothers kick it back and forth to each other to power it up.
Yeah.
And you have to time the button for each kick, otherwise it'll just like fling right by one of the brothers.
Yeah, and that's always the key. Like I was back to Mario RPG because while that was hard for me as a kid, like I just love what it did for combat and JRPGs because it added that one little bit of interactivity that made it way more fun and gave you an incentive to do it because it increased damage or helped you defend better.
Yeah, you didn't have to just mash A through the attack menu.
Yeah, it's just auto battle at that point.
Yeah.
All right, do you see we're down to the last two here, and you have another title that's related to another franchise in the list, which is also great. And this game was, I think I put this on my list a couple years back, right? It was stellar, top 10.
If not last year, maybe the year before.
2023 maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And I finally got around to it. After everybody praised it, I was like, I'll give it a shot. It is Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Really great game.
I really liked Fallen Order when it first came out, and it is, Star Wars Metroidvania. Only in this one you're a Jedi. I mean, that one too. Like it's not like Outlaws. That one was cool because you're not a Jedi. This one is cool because you are a badass Jedi.
You're that double hopping, wall running badass Jedi.
You're just swinging the lightsaber around, killing everything in your path, literally chopping it in half. I put this so high up there because this one, when I started it, I didn't play anything else. Like I was so focused, and very few other games on this list or even in my honorable mentions have taken my attention and just said, nope, you focus on this and this alone. And I played all the way through it. I put it up so high because once I beat it, which I haven't done in a lot of games recently, is like I continued playing it and I finished up some of the side stuff. I wanted to go in and do the bounty hunter missions, and then I get I got to talk with Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. It was just, and I enjoyed how like after you beat the story, they respond to that. They're talking about what just happened with the main bad guy and the final fight and everything, and they're like, what are we going to do from here on? And all your shipmates are talking about what they want to do in the future, and meanwhile you're just cleaning up little things here and there. I think the bounty hunter one was mainly the only thing I wanted to finish. I didn't want to get all of the collectibles or anything.
Yeah, because there's quite a bit, and you really have to be committed to go collect every little thing.
So this was just really fun, and I can't wait to hopefully see a third one in the series. Luckily, this did not die out like Outlaws.
Yeah, I thought I might have misheard, or maybe it was rumors, but I thought there was a third one coming. It's supposed to be like a trilogy.
I think so. They're setting it up kind of that way.
Yeah.
And even though the first one, they really set it up, and then they took a different turn where like everybody had split up and you're sort of like gathering them back. I'm hoping the third one is just more of the same. Like
yeah. Like you, I loved Fallen Survivor. And I think Jedi Survivor, like I think the one thing I didn't like about Fallen Order is like it did lean on that Souls-like kind of combat where things could kill you pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't so bad. Like the joke there is like I had 2 of those stupid health tanks until Randy told me about
more tanks.
15 hours, and I was like, oh, you can get more. I was like, what? Right? So I admit it hard on myself, but Jedi Survivor I think refined a lot of that to where the combat was. It was more fun to go through, and you didn't feel like you couldn't go after certain enemies. So
well, they also let you customize it a little more. They were like, do you want the double-bladed saber?
That's right, yeah.
Do you want 2, one in each hand? Do you want like the big one that Kylo Ren carries?
And the staff.
And you just start swinging really slow at it. And then like certain enemy types were weaker to different stances. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a neat addition to this one.
Yeah, worthwhile for sure.
You know what I always found hilarious is some of the collectibles were like beards and haircuts. It's like, here's my wig. Let me just change it, or my fake beard, put it on.
That was probably the one thing I didn't like, because I like the immersion of like, I'm going to make my character based on what the story is doing. And for the longest time, I wanted him to have a big scruffy beard because it's been a few years since the first game. And you don't get that till like way late in the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, I just want him to have a beard.
I put that on just to give him like the Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan kind of beard.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like it was way down the line anyway. It's a little late. All right, Vito, I guess I could talk about the same one here because we put this at the same spot here.
Yeah. Ghosts of Yotei.
Yes, this is also on my number 2 list after much debate and also some influence from Ducey, who I think guided me in the right direction for my number 1.
I helped you out on that on that vote.
So it's more of Ghost of Tsushima, but they take what they did in that game and really refined it for this one. Like one of my problems with Ghost of Tsushima, which I actually really like, is that it's a lot of kind of like the Ubisoft open world stuff where it's like go to this part of the map to talk to this person. Ghost of Yotei is very organic open world where you run into people that'll say, "Oh, I saw a fox den over in this part of and you have to find on the map where it's at, or you use your spyglass to see, oh look, there's a pagoda way over there. I better go over there and check that out." The combat is really, really good. You'll get different types of weapons which are effective against different enemies. Similar with stances, I believe.
It's like a rock paper scissors,
right?
Oh yeah,
rock paper scissors system where it's like your dual katanas will outdo a staff or a lance or something, and then your what do they call them? The Kurosagama works against like other like shielded guys,
right?
Yeah.
And just the world, the map is really gorgeous. I mean, I was just in Japan, obviously modern day Japan, not 1600 Japan, but the country is beautiful, and I think they really capture it in this game. Like everything,
they have the same nature there, even if there's buildings.
Right? Yeah, it's just like you'll just be standing there, and you just can't believe you're like looking at it at a game, just like the way that the wind like blows through all the flowers. And
they do a lot with one big thing that I really like about this game that I played. So I played through Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is interesting because these are both two sort of samurai style games. And the differences are pretty big. I beat Shadows, but it just feels like a stock Ubisoft world, right?
Well, I mean, Assassin's Creed goes back to the mid 2000s.
So yeah, right.
They haven't done much.
Exactly, right. But whereas Ghost of Yotei, they use color all the time. Like there's certain sections that are just really gorgeous, like when you fight with, or when we're in an area with those blue kind of lilies, right? Or you might get an area that's like really heavily in like this red foresty thing, and everything just pops. And like Vito said, it's just organically engaging where I was just doing every side thing as I approached it. Like if I found it, I was distracted enough to where I could go enjoy it and do it. And I was doing like all the bounties before I was doing main missions. The story has some really interesting twists all throughout that are weaved. I think one twist towards the end is just a little bit too late. But that's like my only small criticism. But it's just a really stellar game. Like this really could have been number 1 for me as well, all the same.
And even like some of the missions in and of themselves, like the bounty missions especially, like will take a twist. There was this one where you go to hunt this particular bounty, and he's like stalking the castle, and he's like, "Oh, there's a treasure in there. Like, let's go get it together." So you team up with them, and then you realize, like at the end, that he goats you into fighting this like the general or something. Then he takes off with the treasure and leaves you there.
Yeah.
So I'm like hoping that I'll encounter this guy later in the game. I don't know if I do. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, it's just everything is just well done. I think the pacing is really good because open world, it's really easy to get things that are kind of like monotonous. I did spend a lot more time in Act 1 before 2 or 3, and then those are much shorter. I think 3 is really short because it intends for you to focus solely on like the end story, the end game, right?
That's most Act 3s in movies and
it
stuff
is,
too.
right? Yeah, so it works. And then like the story, it's kind of like, if you distill it, like it's just sort of like a general revenge story. Like Atsu was left for dead. Her whole family was killed by the Saito clan because her dad pretty much just deserted his clan, which is seen as like a very dishonorable thing to do. And she's left, she escapes, and there's some twists later on that play into it. So the story is really great for what it is, despite how sort of relatively, common it is, like a revenge story. But the twists are really, really good.
Wasn't it a revenge story in Tsushima too?
Oh, it pretty much was. Like he was going after the Mongols, and he was more contending with the fact that like he doesn't want to go into like the ninja side of things, like with the dishonorable killing stealth.
That's right. Yeah.
Whereas Atsu's just like hell bent on revenge. Like she's out to go get Saito, and she's going to kill everyone in her way.
Wasn't there revenge in Assassin's Creed Shadows too?
There was.
Yes. It's always some type of revenge story.
Isn't there revenge in Ninja Gaiden?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're all sort of like that same revenge story. It's just like, how do you kind of differentiate it?
But that is one thing I told you I did like better about Ghost of Tsushima, is that whole kind of dynamic of him struggling with the samurai way versus the
ninja
dishonorable
way.
ninja way. And I think that's
Well, that's the stronger conflict because he's contending with himself. Whereas again, like Atsu's the opposite. It's like she doesn't care who she kills. Like she just wants revenge for everyone who was murdered in her family. You know.
In Tsushima, I kind of feel like her at playing as him though. I'm like, there's no conflict. I'm gonna get shit done.
Yeah, and for me, like the stealth is so good in these games. Like it was hard for me to go with like sort of with Jin's sort of inclinations because the stealth was so fun.
Yeah,
that I was stealth killing everybody in that game.
Yeah.
Same with the second game, and then I actually turned the combat up to hard in Yotei because it's so fun and so tight and well done that it's just. I enjoyed my time playing on hard. Some of the bosses were a nightmare. I don't know if you got into Takezo yet.
So you fight him the first time by the water, and I fought him there, and he's like, "Come up to Mount Yotei when you have all the trinkets."
He's a nightmare.
I don't think I've gotten all the trinkets yet because I'm like, okay, I got to go fight him. But yeah, I know that's going to be difficult.
He's by far the hardest boss in the game, and I guess he's supposed to be end game because I beat him right before I beat the final boss because I just thought like, well, I'm gonna try to clean up as much as I can. So definitely level up because it was. Well, I did it on hard too, and it was really really hard, but it's a great time.
I have the when there's open worlds, it takes me so long to get through the main story because I want to do everything, and I'll be like getting all the hot springs, all the fox dens, all
this game is great for that because there's others where I won't do that, right? Just because either the world's too big, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, or there's just like a lot of stuff that I don't care about. Whereas with this, there was just enough side activities that it was really enjoyable to go seek them all out. I was telling Deuce, I'd say the weakest one that I enjoyed the least, which it wasn't a bad thing. It was just the Sumi-E paintings where you're just like, you're on the touchpads. Like it's just a distraction. It's not anything bad. But, everything else was engaging enough to where I didn't feel like there was too many collectibles.
But at least, that you're active in the Sumi-E paintings because in Shadows, I believe you just go to the spot and you have to crouch, right? And then look and you're not really doing anything.
Yeah.
I think this game is kind of the anti-Assassin's Creed Shadows because I think while there's some repetitive side missions, they're not as repetitive as Shadows. Like Shadows literally is the map is full of the exact same thing over and over and over.
As an outside observer, because I haven't played either of those yet, I played Tsushima, but like Ghosts of Tsushima and Yotei feel like a natural progression from what Assassin's Creed built over the past 2 decades. The sad thing is that like Shadows would have been a great Assassin's Creed game back when they were at the top of their game.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wanted a Japanese-themed Assassin's Creed. And then they finally put it out, but it's kind of too little too late because Ghost already exists.
And it is better. Like, Shadows, I didn't think it was a bad game. Like, to me, it's a solid 8. Like, it's the most 8 out of 10 game you can get because it does nothing bad. It does nothing new or great.
Yeah.
I have more complaints than I do with Yotei. Like, Yotei's world is big, but it's just big enough to where you don't feel overwhelmed. Whereas with Shadows, there's times I'm like going across the giant map, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is taking so long. And luckily there's fast travel, but you have to unlock those fast travel points first.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make this too much about like the comparison between the two, but I'd say it's fair to say that Assassin's Creed Shadows wishes it was like a Ghost of Yotei or Tsushima type game.
Yeah.
It's a good facsimile of it, but it's not quite the same. It's still rooted in Ubisoft's formula where Yotei, despite kind of like you said, just kind of adhering some of the Ubisoft formula in some senses, it does it miles better. It's way more engaging.
Yeah.
Is there a black and white mode in Yotei?
There is.
Nice.
There's also a Takeshi Miike mode, I think, right? Where he's the director who makes like these really, I guess they're like, what would you call them? Like action, I don't know. He's a weird director, I'll say. Yeah. I can't really describe it because I'm not too familiar with what his style is without actually like having you watch a movie. It's kind of bizarre. All right, we went through our number 2. So, Ducey, we are down to our top of the years for all 3 of us here.
Yep.
And you're number 1. I would say I expected this one.
I almost didn't. I was kind of swapping between the top 2, maybe even the top 3. But when I thought about it, I was like, no, it can be no other game than Stardew Valley.
Yeah, because you were hot on this one.
And, I mean, I almost forgot that it was this year. Like, this year has been so long and short at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was back in around January, February when I got sick and I didn't want to play anything too heavy. And I restarted Stardew because I started it once or twice before and never really got too far in it. But after watching some playthroughs on YouTube and everything, I realized, oh, that's how you approach it. And then I did. And then I put over 100 hours into it, all in this year alone. All in less than like 2 months.
I was going to say, you said this year, but I don't think you've played it since like the beginning of the year.
I did. Just last week, I went into it for a couple days and I went in and like, I just started fall of year 3, and that was it. And as I was playing it, I was realizing, oh no, I'm getting into the same loop again. And if I do that, I'm not going to play all these other games that I've been starting.
Yeah.
So it's still just as addictive to me, and I could pick it up and play it any time. But I mean, all our avid listeners know what I said about it back when I was playing it originally, and everything still stands true to this being my game of the year, 2025.
I would say so. It's like I said, I knew this was going to be higher up there. I wasn't sure if it was going to be 1, but I expected it to be at least top 3, if nothing else. Yeah. Vito, you're number 1. I definitely expected this one.
Well, I felt like every time I come on this podcast for a while, I was like, hey, I'm still playing this one. So my number 1 is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I spent about 130 hours going through this game and finishing the story with the first DLC, I believe it was. There's been 2 other ones that have come out, which I haven't played yet. Which I do want to go back. I just am like, okay, I need to have the time to go through it. But this game is one of the most immersive RPGs I've ever played. Especially since I'm a history buff, it like scratches that itch of living in medieval time, right? I mean, you have to do everything from bathe to eat to, observe the laws, like things like that.
Is it based on any historical events?
So yeah, it's the Civil War in Bohemia in like the 1400s between King Wenceslas and Sigismund, and you're a pro Wenceslas person. And the story basically starts where you and your Henry of Skalitz, and you're under the employ of Lord Hans Capon, and you're going to try to convince this lord to switch sides, and then all this shit hits the fan, right? The story is really interesting. There's lots of funny side stories. I remember this one where you are in this town and the people are sick of these Cuman mercenaries that are always hanging out at the bar, so they want you to kill them. Well, you go to kill them, but then you end up becoming friends with them because you get drunk and it turns into this like whole like medieval like hangover type thing where you're doing all this stupid crap and they're all just making asses out of themselves, and it's really funny. The combat's really good. You could kind of tailor Henry to however you want him to play. You want him to be good with bow and arrow or a primitive gun or a pole arm. You could do that. My Henry was really good with the long sword, and I unlocked this move called the Master Strike, where if you timed your counters just right, he'd automatically hit the guy and like inflict damage. My only gripe with this is when you get to the last, boss. He's pretty cheap because no matter my Henry was leveled up on sword fighting like, all the way, and I could not get a hit on this guy, and he would one hit kill me. So what I realized is I had to just be on the defensive the whole time and let him come to me and then do the Master Strike. So I just was waiting for him to hit me, and then I do the Master Strike, and then I eventually beat him.
Was it like slowly chipping away at his health with that?
Yeah, it was, but then at a certain point he like you don't actually kill this guy. You end up, something happens and you end up getting split up. So I'd imagine in a part 3, he'd come back. But I really want to see Warhorse take this type of formula and do like an ancient Rome type game.
Oh, that would be pretty wild.
Like I would love to see that. And I can't recommend KCD2 enough. I think everyone should play it, but just expect that you're going to put a lot of time into it if you want to see it through all the way to the end. It's a very easy number 1 for me for this year.
Yeah, this is on my list someday.
Yeah.
Whenever I can get to it and find time for it.
What was that one that was sort of medieval and very almost too realistic for its own good, and like the saves, people hated the save system?
That was Kingdom Come Deliverance 1.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like part 1.
Yeah, the game the review that sold me on the first game, it was like $4 on Steam, was someone said like they got in a fight with their neighbor at a bar, and they like you're collected with your friends. Like they asked like, hey, you want to go throw horse crap at their house? I was like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like $4 sold, you know?
There's actually a similar mission in part 2 where you're with these miner people and they hate this other group of miners. So you take like somebody's like skid marked underwear and you like take down their flag at their place and you hang it in place of their flag. Yeah.
See, that game's right for me. Yeah. I love a good fart joke. It's fine. All right, guys. My number 1, after much contention, is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I was really split between this and Ghost of Yotei for a lot of reasons. And Deuce is like, you know what? I think like Expedition 33 is like more you So probably should be number one.
I mean, just the way you talked about it throughout this year, and like, I feel like Ghost of Yotei, we expected it to be great because of Tsushima, and then this was like a huge surprise to you, and then you could not stop gushing about it.
And I think that's really where the differentiator is, because while Ghost of Yotei is, it's an open world game, it does a lot great on its own. It's just, it does exactly what it needs to do and it excels at it. Whereas Clair Obscur is like sort of the next notch in JRPGs for me, because it further melds the Super Mario RPG sort of real time, or excuse me, like the timed hits kind of thing, where it folds in an action game in this, like almost like a Devil May Cry, where you now have parries, which means when you parry, there's more risk to it, but you can negate all damage if you parry, and you also gain 1 AP point, which are used to use like your magic spells or ability points. You can also dodge, which I think still gives you AP, but you might take damage. I forgot what the caveat there was, but it's easier to do. You can basically negate all damage in this game if you're really good at parrying all the attacks. And I know one of the complaints that people were talking about is like there's not that much enemy variety, but I'm like, that's actually kind of a good thing, because you have to learn all of their attacks. Like they all have 3, 4, 5 attacks, and you have to parry them. But the story in here is really strong. The writing is just really somber. The atmosphere just absolutely fits the depressing mood of this game, where the story here is like you're sort of the 67th expedition to go out and try to kill the paintress, who every year paints a number on this monolith, and anyone who's at that age or above it basically just sort of fades into these petals. They call it a gromage, I think it's called. And you're out on this expedition to go find the paintress and basically kill her to stop from basically just killing everyone on this in the land. And there's an overworld map that has just enough to do. Like it reminds me of like, an early JRPG like Final Fantasy VII, where, it's big enough and it's not too big. And there's a lot of sort of diversions and side sections you can go to and discover more. The combat in here is really amazing, because beyond the parrying and the dodging, you have all the characters have their individual gameplay styles and mechanics, which are just really ridiculous and layered. There's one where your mage character, named Lune, she can cast spells, and each spell gives you, they call it an environmental stain. And then each of these stains that are spawned from a spell, like if you cast fire, you get like a blank stain and a fire stain, where the next spell you cast, if it's like an earth spell, it's actually enhanced by those 2 stains. Mm-hmm. So the idea is you kind of have to strategize, like build up your environmental stains and use them to enhance other magic attacks. Another character named Monoko, whenever he kills an enemy, he learns their abilities. So now you have a whole list of abilities that you can synergize with other abilities you collect from other enemies that you
He's like
defeat.
Mega Man.
Yeah, he's like Mega Man, and I think his name is Gal from Final Fantasy VI, where he learns enemy abilities, right?
I remember that,
yeah. So this game just has like layers upon layers of combat stuff that I love, that makes it engaging, because unlike most JRPGs, you aren't just standing there. If you are, you're going to get destroyed. Your defense is still existent, but it's not, you can't rely on that. You have to be parrying or dodging or, just finding ways to avoid damage. And then beyond all that, the story just takes so many turns. Charlie Cox is a character in here who plays Gustav. He's the main character in this game.
Nice.
And there's the main story here is just, as you get further into it, I won't spoil much of it, but it just gets into sort of like the stages, not the stages of grief, but like sort of grief and acceptance and like dealing with grief. And without spoiling it, it just becomes a pretty crazy tale, and explains a lot of what is in the world and why the gromage happens. And there's also the main boss named Renoir, who, he kind of explains things for you too. And there's a whole different aspect with him where he's like the opposite of why everything's happening. It's just a stellar JRPG game. And the reason I put this above Ghost of Yotei is because of everything it does to sort of move the genre forward, because it's a very unique game. I think this is getting like a ton of press from everywhere because it's just that damn good of a game. And it's just such a fun time to play all throughout.
Is it nominated for a lot in the other Game of the Year?
I think so. I don't know where else. I'm sure Game Awards is probably nominated there. I'm sure it's getting other Game of the Year awards, but it's just a really standout experience. It's like, I think it took me about 30, 40 hours, which is good. And it's like, it's pretty beefy. I almost wish it was a little bit longer. I'm sure there's endgame stuff I could do now. But, it's a really solid adventure, and it's just a totally unique game, just like unlike anything else you play, especially for RPGs.
So what's interesting is I believe that the studio is from their former Ubisoft devs.
There's a few that are former. I don't know how many. I think it's like between 3 and 10 or something like that. The story is apparently that they were tired of not doing what they wanted, so to speak, and they went off and made their own studio and did what they wanted.
Yeah, that's every studio these days.
That's the thing, though, right? It's like, so these developers work for these studios, and they're kind of pigeonholed to do the same stuff over and over and over.
Yeah.
And then they go out on their own and they make something amazing like this, Clair Obscur, or like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, where they're not really tied to,
Well, they're not tied. They're not beholden to what always comes up, right, is shareholders, right? Like
Right.
they sell publishers,
Right.
but it's not like Ubisoft where it's like, all right, well, Star Wars Atlas has to sell 10 million to break even, right?
Yeah.
Or we're
Right.
going to kill it. This is like, we believe in ourselves, and we made a very focused game, both with like Kingdom Come and Clair Obscur, and they're immediate successes. Like both these games, they're on many lists this year.
Yeah.
It's a shame when they break off and they do something amazing, and that gets the attention of the people that they broke off from, and then they get absorbed right back
That's
into
also
it.
true. Yeah, they get bought out or something like that,
Yeah.
and then that's when bad things can happen.
Well, I know
Yeah.
that KCD's 2 studio, Warhorse, was bought by, is it Deep Silver or Planion that owns Deep Silver? So I'm always a little bit worried that something's going to happen.
I know there's so many of these sort of corporate consolidators, as I'll call them, that it's hard not to be fearful of what they might do because everything's so volatile. Like there's been so many layoffs across the industry that it sucks when a game is that good. You're like, well, is this good enough for you? You know?
Yeah.
My hope is that it's successful enough that they just go, okay, we're going to let you do whatever you want because we
Yeah.
know that you're going to make something good. So just here's money, just do whatever.
Ironically, that's how Atari seems to be so far because they own a lot now, which is ironic. Like they own Night Dive, and Night Dive just turns out remaster after remaster. Right?
Wow.
So it's kind of
Excellent
interesting.
remasters,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we made it through quite a big list of dishonorable mentions or disappointments, some honorable mentions, and our top 10. So I think it was a pretty amazing episode. We chipped away at a lot of games. We played a lot of great games this year, both old and new.
Yep.
Can't believe 2025 is already over again.
I know. And then we have a game coming out for me next week that I've been excited for, Metroid Prime 4. That
Yep,
you know
me both.
wouldn't make this list, but
That'll be on next year's.
It'll probably be next year's. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so excited for that. I cannot wait for Metroid Prime
I'm really
4.
excited.
Yeah.
I've been just chomping at the bit for that one.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Like,
well, you'll hear it from me, Ducey.
Yeah.
Because I don't think retro can really. I'll be surprised if they blow it.
I was very happy when they took over the reins from whatever that other company was doing.
Yeah.
But the more I'm seeing coming out, like the motorcycle and the talkative partner, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, that makes me a little bit skeptical.
The way I understand from this one that they've showcased, this partner that they've showcased in the previews, that he's only in this one segment, but you do get other whatever they're
Partners?
called partners later that they're specific to areas, I guess. So we'll see. Maybe they're all not annoying.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
We'll find out
Yep.
in about a week or two.
Like I said, optimistic, but
Yeah.
cautious.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we had a lot of great times with a lot of great games this year, and there's more coming out. There's even more next year that we'll be talking about and diving into.
I don't even know. I only know of one huge one, which we don't even know for sure if it's coming out next year.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking forward to just yet.
I know.
I kind of forgot because, again, like just time goes by so fast, I tend to forget these
Resident
things.
Evil 9
Oh, yeah, that's February. I'm excited for that.
and Metroid Prime 4 is in a week. I'm not sure. There's something else coming out in like February.
I got it. Well, it's not February, but it's March. James Bond first.
Oh,
Light.
yes, that's
the
right.
big
I
one.
cannot wait
we're-
for that.
We're waiting for
Yep,
that
yep.
for sure. It's gonna be a big March. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy. Yeah. Well, friends, if you're out there still listening to us after top 10s, if you want to reach out and send us your favorite games of the year, or just shoot the shit about games like we like to do, you can reach out at LegionGamingPod@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at LegionGamingPodcast. Fellas, any last words for our friends who are going to go off into the game of the years of years?
I'll give myself a plug. Follow me on Instagram, 8-Bit
There you
Barrister.
go.
I'm looking for Japanese exclusive N64 games to play on the Analog 3D, so recommend them, please.
There you go. 8-Bit Barrister, call them out now, give them some lists. Ducey, any final words before we end the year?
To all our winners, congratulations!